Aha, we're recording. Okay, so welcome everybody. I'm super excited that we are launching Ignite at KW Select. This is the new Ignite, and we have no idea exactly what we're doing. So we're just going to confess this. You need to work with us as we go through this together. Just putting it out on the table. We know the concepts and obviously we know the general gist of it, but it is new material, so please bear with us. We're not intending to make you guinea pigs, but, well, you are a little bit, so, work with us, okay? So for the online people, it's going to be really important to let us know if you're having any technical issues, if you can't hear. We will pass the microphone around the room when the people in the class are participating so that you can hear their questions. And if you're online and you want to ask a question, please just unmute yourself. We really want to have participation from the people online, not just the people in the classroom, okay? So is everybody ready? Everybody good to go? Okay. So in terms of timing, we have everybody scheduled for every session from 9 to 12. We might be done by 11. We might be done at 11:59. It will depend entirely on how the class goes and how long certain activities go in various modules. So that's why we've asked you to book the time, and then if it takes less, then you have some more time available, okay? So what we'll do is we'll get started. I actually have my glasses on today, so I don't have to steal anybody's. Okay, so everybody was given a handout. Now, if you're online, let me take a minute because you don't have a hard copy. So my in-class people, bear with me for a second because I'm going to show the online people where to get their material. Oh, we have more people arriving at the door. So exciting! Okay, so bear with me for a second. And actually, you guys can all watch this in class as well because it'll show you where your resource material is so you can find it later. Okay? Welcome, welcome. Okay, so you have to be able to log in to your MyKW. Okay? Erin, if I open another tab, this is signed in as you, right? Okay, well, I'll log back out then, so.
No, you can, both tabs are you. You can open a third tab as you.
I can? Yeah. Okay, we'll find out. Okay, so you're going to, here, I'll just wait till we're in the seating. Give Richard crap back there. Okay, we're just getting a few more people settled, so just bear with me for a second. Okay, so what I wanted to show you first, especially for the people online who have not just been handed a package, because that's not within my skill set, to teleport paper across the World Wide Web yet. So what I want to show you is how to find the resource material that you're going to need for the class today. There's both packets right there, Richard. So you're going to go to your MyKW. Everybody know how to get into their MyKW? Smile and nod at me, hopefully. My online people, hopefully. So you're going to go in, and now they've changed it because KW University and KW Connect are connected. So it's all one portal to everything training related versus before, videos were in one section and manuals were in another. It's all mixed together now. Okay, so you're going to go up to education at the top, and then you're going to click on KW Connect. Erin, do you want to make a note of who's here for me while you're standing there for me? Okay, so when you get into KW Connect / KW University, you're going to go under courses. And about 3 clicks down, you're going to find the Ignite button. So you're going to click on Ignite. And you're going to click on student. This is what it looks like here. So there's 2 things in here we're going to look at. One of them is called My Tracker, We're going to come back to this later in actual section. We're actually going to enter information here. But the second piece is student resources. So when you open up the student resources, it opens up every module that you're in, and you can click on, obviously we're Canada, so we're going to click on the Power Session 1 Manual Canada. And now you are looking at exactly the same handout material that the students in the classroom have. Is everybody online good with that?
No,
No, who just said that?
Margaret.
Margaret. Okay, do you need me to do it again?
All I'm seeing is yours, and I don't know how to get to my own.
Okay, well, on your own computer, log in
Yeah.
to your MyKW.
So the full screen is yours.
It's mine.
And I don't.
You're just watching. Yes. So you,
Yes.
yeah, you'd have to minimize the screen.
Okay.
That's a great question. Thank you, Margaret.
It's not letting me minimize the screen.
If you just ignore my screen and open up your own web browser.
In order to do that, I'm going to have to go right out of the meeting, I think, because
No,
it's not letting me.
you
It's not
have
letting me do anything.
What I'll do is I'm going to ask Erin to just run over to her phone and call you
Okay.
and walk you through it so that
Yes.
she can help you individually, if that's okay. Does anybody else having a problem? Henry's got
Hi,
it.
Ann.
Is that Russ?
Where? Hi. No, I was just wondering I just logged in there, but
Okay.
I missed. So you go to MyKW and then what?
And then you go to KW Connect under Education.
All right. Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah.
And then,
All right.
and then you're going to pick Courses.
Sorry about this, folks. I just courses. Yeah.
And then you're going to pick Ignite.
Hi.
So it's right here.
So
Yeah. Ignite up. Or yeah. Okay. Just
Okay.
click on it.
Just click on it, and then you're going to click on Student Resources.
Excellent.
And then you're going to do the Canadian for Module 1.
Canadian Module 1. Awesome.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Does everybody else have the material? Because it's really important, especially for our online people, that you're following along. Thank you, Rebecca. Did everybody that came into the room get the material in addition to the people online? So I'm going to ask my classroom people to let me know if I don't see if someone's put something in chat and is asking a question, okay? Or you guys can unmute yourselves and, pipe up just as they would in the classroom, okay? Make sense to everybody? Okay. So in theory, once we get Margaret sorted, we should all we should all have the material. So first thing is if you go back to your resources there at the top of the Power Session 1, for those people that are online, there's something called Power Session 1 Mission. So I'm going to click on that so you can see it. So, remember at the beginning when I confessed that, this is a new course and we're working out some of the, we don't know what we're doing exactly. This is one of them. We were supposed to give this to you before you came to class. So we're going to go through it now for a minute just so that you're ready going forward. Isn't honesty the best policy? Isn't that the plan? Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is the one piece of paper here that everybody has, the Welcome to Ignite. Did you get that one, Richard? Okay. So the idea behind this, obviously, is that you have to be able to get into KW online in order to, just a second here. We got another attendee here, Taylor. Thank you. And The other piece of it is, because you're going to want to be able to go into My KW as you go to be able to log in and track your successes and your accomplishments as you go through. Also, it's your access to the material. If you want to, if you're making notes on pages, you don't have to worry about it because you can log back in and reprint a clean sheet for those of us that have OCD issues about writing all over our manuals. So you have those options to get at that material. The other thing it's asking is to make sure you have your calendar, which I'm assuming everybody does in some form, whether it's on their phone or on their computer. Note cards, business cards, and stamps. So that's the one thing that we did not prep you for, and I do apologize. So that activity today is going to become homework, that when we talk about that section, because we don't have 100 note cards here to hand out to you. So whether you stop at the dollar store, whatever, we'll talk about that. So that's just one piece that I apologize, we own that one. So going in to log into the KW Connect, as we've done here, practicing that, then there's a series of orientation videos that are listed here. You're looking at no more than 45 minutes to watch all of the intro videos that they're providing for you. So I would invite you this evening to go back and look at them. I'm not going to take the time out of the class today to go and do that because you'll shoot me. So, if everyone's okay with that. Okay, so they are listed there. If you're online, I do believe it may, I'm not even sure, I think it's actually a live link. Let me double check that before I've said that. Yes. So if you do it that way, if you go into the KW Connect, you're not searching through the menu trying to find the actual videos to watch. So the first one is an agent orientation to Ignite. So what I was going to do is just do the Welcome to Ignite by Gary Keller with you guys versus the 8-minute one. Are you guys okay with a minute and 24? Now I've lost it already. Was right within the thingy, because I'm very technical for all of those of you that don't know that already. So you should, now worst case scenario, you would be able to type in to the search bar in KW Connect the thing, okay? So.
Hi, I'm Gary Keller. This course will allow you to get off to a fast start you can build on. Because if you repeated the principles every 90 days for a year, believe me, you have an awesome first year. And just as important, you would have built a foundation and momentum for your entire career. It is practical, realistic, and easy to apply. It's about the fundamentals that determine your level of success in the business of real estate. From our research with top agents, we have found that they too started their careers with these fundamentals, and they continue to do them along with their teams to this very day. It's not hard. It just requires a little focused effort a few hours every day. Now, there is really just one way to achieve the goal. It's lead generation. Other skills are important, yet without leads to work with, your skills won't mean a thing. Dealing with business never takes precedence over what? Finding business. Never. Research shows that top producing agents make lead generation their #1 priority and the one thing they make sure they always get done. You can do this. And when you do, you will get the leads, the relationships, the experiences, the career, and the income that you want and deserve. Go get them, and good luck.
And we get really fun music too to go with it. Okay, so it was interesting when I was going through this material because it's not necessarily new information, hopefully. This is going to be a summary of how to actually practically run your business with the tools. Instead of getting up every day and going, I don't know what to do today. I'm not really sure how to manage my time or manage my business. The goal is that this will give you the steps in order to do it as well as the tools and some practical applications to do it. I know when I was reading all the material to try and be ready for you guys, I went, oh, I should be doing more of that. Like, this is not just for new agents as they're showing in the thing. This is about getting your business back on track, getting focused. So before we dive into the material, I just want to sort of get a feel for who's in the room. I found that he made a very interesting statement in that video. Did anybody catch the interesting statement that made you kind of go, oh, I don't think I do it that way? What would that have been? No, that's not the one I'm actually looking for. But yes, but no, but hang on, there's another piece to it. Anybody catch it? He said doing existing business should never take precedence over getting business. I'm 100% guilty of that. I can be lead generating and then go, oh my God, I got a deal. Stop. Anybody else guilty of this? Let's be honest. I got some nods. I got one hand. Okay, let's be honest. That's what we're all doing, right? If we're fair, we're not sticking to the pattern every single day of being consistent in our habits. We're like, oh my goodness, I have an inspection. Oh my goodness, I have a meeting. Oh, I'm on a committee. Oh, I have that, and I'll do my lead generation when I'm done that. Oh, someone called to look at a house. We're not making it a priority. Is this a fair assessment? Yes. Okay. Anybody online have anything they'd like to add to this thought? Nope. Okay. So, so the idea behind Ignite is really to get us focused. It's to be able to build a plan that works around your life and your family in order to manage your business and grow it. And it's not about spending money. Ignite at no point is talking about go out and spend thousands of dollars on this and advertise this or buy this shiny penny. Gary Keller is absolutely against the shiny penny in terms of business development. Okay. Does everybody know what I mean by the shiny penny? No? Okay. Wendy, Tammy's like, I know what it means. So the shiny penny is the, ooh, buy this and get 1,000 new web leads. Buy, you know, ooh, advertise here. We're going to guarantee X. You know, it's, doing all these other things that allow us to avoid talking to humans because they're easier. We pay for it and so we expect it to work. But it won't replace what the fundamentals are, which is that this is a relationship business. So when we're getting back on track and we're starting to deal with Ignite, we're going to be focusing on building those relationships and how to do those effectively. Everybody ready? Yay, okay. I'm very excited, by the way, that we have full room. I'm super excited. I cannot tell you. I mute Margaret. Margaret, you have a question? No, I can do it.
No?
No? Okay, sorry. No, we're hearing your background noise, Margaret, so I'm just going to mute you. And you can unmute yourself when you need to join in.
Okay.
Okay, it's not personal. It's from Rebecca, she says, yeah. Okay, so I do invite you to watch the rest of the videos. I always find, they're in snippets. You can go back and find something in there that's going to trigger a really good thought. Okay, so in the material you've got, we're going to get started. I'm going to try very hard not to read this to you because that makes me crazy. As a student, I want this to be interactive and learning. And one of the things about the Ignite sessions for my teachers that are in the room, as you go through your material, you're going to see that it's very much activity-based in the sense of work with a small lesson, and then the people online are going to do a piece, you guys are going to do a piece, and then we're going to talk about it, and then we're going to go on to the next lesson, okay? So that you're not just sitting here listening to me drone on for hours and hours and hours. Okay, so we're going to flip to page 5 in your books, please, and online. Let me, yeah, there's one right there. Matthew, sorry. I'm happy to say we have more bodies than printed. Going to move the chat. Oh, that's the instructor edition. That doesn't help you. Okay, I was going to try and follow along online, but that's not going to work. Shelley, you have a question? Oh, yes. No, I should be able to find it. Oh, yes, that's a good point. No, that's a very good point. Yes, yep. That's, okay. Go back. Okay, now, please don't have a heart attack for anybody online where it says 72 pages. Now, I don't know how to make this like any to fit in the page. Does anybody know? Okay, that's the gist of it. Okay, so the idea with this section is really just getting our mental place in the right focus in terms of how we're going to go forward. So the idea behind this is a small exercise together, and it's called Get Your Head in the Game. Write down your answers on your sheets, and we'll discuss the following. So, number one question. So I'm going to ask you guys this. I want you to write down, and we're going to talk about it. Have you achieved your financial goals through your career so far? Why or why not? And then the next question is, what is the one thing that makes one real estate agent more successful than others? And Pretty Shoes is not actually the answer. I know. And why don't all sales representatives do whatever this is? So let's go through those three questions. Just take a second. You guys let me know when you're ready. Okay, who's ready? Okay, now I have Kelly and I have Kelly Brown online. Okay, anybody ready? Matthew.
And I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to be on here twice or not, but I do have a Kelly, and it's saying me, but then there's a phone that says Kelly Brown, so I don't really understand what's happening with it.
Okay, because as far as I know, we only have one Kelly on the roster. Unless we've hired someone I'm not advised of. So I'm just doing my attendance, so I apologize. Thank you, Kelly, for letting us know that I don't have two magical people in the same place.
Yeah, I'm going to log out and log back in through my computer here in a second.
Okay, no problem. Okay, Matthew, you were going to answer a question, so hang on, I got to come to you. The first one. Hold on just a minute. It's like being on the Oprah show. I bring the mic to you.
So have I achieved all my financial goals? No.
Okay.
And Why? Because I need to take my business to the next level.
Anybody else? Everybody here has made all their financial goals.
No. And I said if I did, I'd have such a large business and database that I could let someone else do the heavy lifting.
That's an awesome answer. Sean, you had your hand up.
I said no, but I also said currently walking on improving my consistent growth and need to stay focused on the plan.
Excellent. Anybody else want to contribute? Hold on, Wendy.
I'll contribute because I think this is a common problem. I have not met my goals yet. I need to get away from the computer and paper shuffling and out with the people.
Excellent. That's excellent. Does anybody online have anything they'd like to add? You can unmute yourselves if you'd like to pipe in. Okay, we have a shy crowd today online. Now the question today will be how many times I drop the mic off this duplicity and lose the duplicity because I do it on a regular basis. Okay, so I mean I can say for myself, no, I haven't always achieved my goals. And the question would be why. In my case, it would be consistency. My mother would say, I'm like a fart in a mitt.
Dan?
Yes, that's Russ.
Yeah, no, I wrote on there that everything I do makes you want more, but you know, you never can do enough. But it seems, you know, you set your financial goals higher than what you really expect, and hope for the best, right? And then lead you.
That's a really
Anyway.
interesting point, and I'd like to just touch on that for a second if we can. I'm going to veer off script a little bit, which is going to happen to all the teachers as we hear something interesting, is sometimes we set our goals at what we think we can do comfortably. Has anybody done that? Is that fair? I've got some hands, right? Because I don't want to disappoint myself, right? That would be awful, right? And I don't want to make myself uncomfortable because that would be even worse, right? So if I was to put my goal where I really wanted the goal, then I might have to do things that I may not really want to do or am comfortable doing. Is this a fair statement to anybody in the room? Yes. Okay. So I think that's really interesting that you mentioned that, Russ, because sometimes you might say, I've accomplished my goals, but did I settle? Did I actually push myself? Is that actually how much I need to live and have the life I want? Or did I set my goals based on how much I need to eat and subsist? They're two different kinds of goals. Is that a fair assessment? Sean has a question about the two different kinds of goals. I'm repeating what he is saying.
If you're becoming a seasoned agent, wouldn't it be a different stretch than when you're just coming into the business?
Okay, he just whipped the mic out of my face.
Meaning that, okay, you need to build confidence in the first year, so you set a goal that you really believe that you can do, which is a stretch, but it's not an outrageous stretch. Where the second time that you actually accomplish the first goal is when you actually set forth to go to where you
Go to the next level. Okay, so I'm going to answer that in sort of two parts.
In other words, would you set to do 50 deals in the first year or no?
Well, and I guess it also depends on when you're, I've already broken the duplicity. When you're setting your goals, for anybody that attended goal setting with us this year, we had a big conversation about SMART goals. And so my answer to the question would be, it would depend on whether or not your goals are SMART. And when we say SMART, we mean specific, realistic, measurable, attainable, and truthful. If they don't meet that requirement, and we've talked about that, and if we need to veer off into that at some point during Ignite, we will. But the idea being, if your goals are meeting those requirements, then they meet the financial goals, plus they meet the personal aspects of it and allow you to move forward. Does everybody remember that from business planning? I actually have quite a few of you here that were in business planning. So the answer to your question, I think is, and that's where working with a peer, especially if you're newer to the business, or sitting with myself, or sitting with Sean, or sitting with someone who's more experienced to help you guide yourself in terms of your starting goals. I think what happens is we actually have what I've seen, and this is, I could be wrong, but I feel, in my experience, I've seen experienced agents are actually more paralyzed by fear than new agents. experienced agents are often, they've done it a certain way, and it's worked and managed to pay the bills that way. And that's what they know, and that's what they're comfortable with. So now, in order to push to the next level, we need to do something that might make us more uncomfortable, because now we know, we're experienced, we know how this works. Whereas when you're new, you don't even know what you don't know, so you just do it because someone told you to do it, right? So sometimes, or you flipped a coin and oh my God. So sometimes we're our own, well, I would say in most cases, we're our own worst enemies in respect to pushing ourselves. So I just want to make sure we have the mindset going forward in this Ignite program that we're looking at the possibility that this might make you mildly uncomfortable. But if, we use the analogy of, so I'll give you an example. Linda will be thrilled I'm confessing this on recorded thing. She and I are going to a personal training session to learn how to do boot camp. I am not super excited about this yet, but we've committed to going because I know that my anxiety about walking into a gym where I'm not comfortable and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm going to feel like an idiot and I'm going to be embarrassed is going to be worse than going to a one-on-one session where they teach me what to do so that the next time I walk in, I don't feel like a schmuck. Because I won't go do it because I feel like a schmuck. So I need to get over it. So how am I going to do? I have to commit, make the decision, pay the money, and let someone teach me how to do it. I'm prepared to be uncomfortable because I want to reach a goal. This is no different. You're a seasoned agent. You've never done prospecting every day. You've never talked to FSBOs. You've never done X or Y or gone door knocking. But your business isn't where you want it to be. So now what? This is where Ignite's going to come in to teach you skills and habits that are going to help you push to the next level. Everybody ready? Okay. So the next question was, what is the other thing that makes, what is the one thing that makes one real estate sales representative more successful than others? Can anybody guess? It's going to be a really difficult, complicated answer, Shelley. Bing, bing, bing.
Consistent daily lead generation.
And she wins the prize. It doesn't actually say consistent daily, but it should, because we're going to hear about it ad nauseum, all the time throughout this program, as the key building block to your business. So the answer is lead generating daily. Okay. Anybody who has ever been to family reunion or mega camp or anything of that nature and has the opportunity to listen to the top producing agents, I mean, these teams are, and these individual salespeople, the numbers they do, they just blow your mind. And some of them are in little tiny markets. Like Kentville is like Toronto compared to where some of these people are, right? Population, what's the population of Kentville? I have two Kentville people in my audience here. 5,000? Yeah. So there's people there in those types of markets that have huge dominance and they have huge referral business outside of their own market centers. But the way they did that was through lead generation. So when you're going to these sessions, it becomes very clear. The one thing you see with each of these people that stand up and teach is that they're doing it in some form or another, and it's not to say it has to be done one particular way, but that activity is happening every day. Melissa, would you agree with me? Yes. No, I'm getting a nod. She's way at the back of the room, little tiny Melissa, way at the back. Okay. Anybody online have any questions? I want to make sure I'm not ignoring you guys. Okay, jump in if you want to. Okay, next is to say, why don't all sales reps do this? So let's have the question, like let's have the talk about lead generation. So why doesn't everybody do it? Matthew. Hang on.
People get comfortable, right?
Matthew's saying people get comfortable.
I had a pretty good first year when I started out, and I got pretty comfortable. And then I realized, okay, and number one, I want to continue that, but I want to go further. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing all this extra stuff.
Awesome.
I want to be uncomfortable.
That's going to be our motto for Ignite, I think. Anybody else want to add anything? Not all at once now. Sean, hold on.
You have to have a plan, you have to have time blocking, and you have to realize that that's what you have to do at that time of the day. The other thing too is you may prospect in the morning from 8 to 11, but you're prospecting every day with every environment that you go into. Go into the grocery store, take advantage of it.
Yes, I agree with that. Have you ever had that moment where you decide, today's the day I'm going to go to the grocery store with my hair all wonkadoodle for the girls, and I'm going to have my yoga pants on, and I'm not going to run into a client today. So you might as well just have said I'm going to meet 3 clients at the grocery store, because that's exactly when it happened. I can remember a couple of years ago, I do my Christmas dinner shopping at midnight because the store's open 24 hours and there's no line. So I went in the yoga pants with Victoria at midnight to the superstore. There are not supposed to be clients that I'm running into at midnight at the superstore. Well, 3 sets of clients I ran into at the superstore. Looking like I just rolled it. I might as well put my pajamas on to have gone to the superstore. So you have to remember, you're never off, okay? What? Not the point. Sean says they look the same for my people online. So it's one of those things where, you make a decision, okay, that you're in business and you're there to work with the public and you're there to attract. So how you're acting, how you're presenting, how you work. I should tape it to this thing. I should tape it. I think I should tape it. Anyway, moving on. You're what? Oh, Tammy's waiting to use the dooflicky here. Okay, so the question is, with this whole piece, and it asks you in the sheet, is the desire to succeed more powerful than your fear from doing the one thing that will make you successful? And I think in a lot of cases, people say yes because they think that's what other people want to hear, but you haven't told yourselves, and you don't really believe it. Is that fair? So if we go back to SMART goals, one of the things that my version of T for SMART is truthful. Other people have something else. I can't remember what it is, but I've always added truthful, because it's that if it's not your goal and if you're not committed to it, it's not going to happen. You're never going to do it. Anybody in this room or in this class an ex-smoker? Okay, half the hands, including myself. So for years, lots and lots of people had lots to say about when I should quit smoking. And lots of times I tried to quit smoking because other people nagged me to death. Oh, I'm sorry, encouraged me to stop smoking. And let's just guess how successful that was. Very short-term results, no long-term success, because I wasn't in it. And when I finally made the decision that I was done, I was done. But until you own it, it's not going to happen. It's the same thing for the decision to move your business and do things that make you uncomfortable. You have to have the desire. You have to feel it. It has to vibrate within yourself that every day you're going to do that no matter what. It's no different than a change in your eating habits, or a health change you might make, or whatever it is. This is your commitment, and you need to own it. So when it says there, yes, I want you to really feel the yes that's inside you. I don't want you to just, I call it being a yes man, where you're nodding and shaking your head, yeah, I'm going to do it, yeah, I'm going to do it, yeah. Okay, no. This is a really, this needs to be a yes. What I'd like everybody to say it loud. Yes. Oh, wow, that was so convincing. Let's try again. Yes. Yes. Okay, does that not have a different energy? So anybody here who's done bold, as much as sometimes bold feels a little uncomfortable, it does energize you, and you feel really vital when you're done your bold class. And that's the same idea. So whatever it is that you need to do to own that, I want you to own it. Because that yes, to make yourself do the lead generation, you have to feel it. Okay? So we're going to move on. Look at us flipping through. We're already on page 6. It's so exciting. Yeah, I know. I get in the weeds, I confess. Okay, now how do I move to the next page here? Okay, so the next page is really sort of, honestly, it's a summary of stuff we've already talked about, which tends to happen when I teach, that I end up teaching 3 pages ahead and I don't realize I've done it. So this section here is basically talking about lead generation. We've talked about that, and that you're in the business of lead generation. The reality is that, and this happens with new agents, but it also happens with really established agents, or long-term licensed, I'm going to say, versus established, okay, is that they are still secret agents. Does anybody know what a secret agent is? So I've got some head nodding. So the secret agent is that I'm in real estate. Well, it's on my Facebook page. that I work for Keller Williams. And doesn't everybody know I'm in real estate? Oh my God, you listed with somebody else. Lynn, how could you do that? Have we ever discussed real estate? No. No. Have I ever invited you to anything?
No, you haven't.
Have I ever emailed you or sent you a card or any market updates?
Nothing.
No. Did you hire the person that did?
Certainly did.
Absolutely. Okay. A lot of us are secret agents, and then we're shocked when the person that we know, or that's on Facebook with you, because everybody thinks that's a massive place to find everybody, that we have relationships with people on Facebook, that they hired someone else because you're a secret agent. There's established agents or long-term agents who haven't revitalized their marketing or their presence or retouched their database in years. And they wonder why it's not producing anymore. Anybody here who's been licensed for more than 3 years, or anybody online, have anything to add to that statement? No? Do you think I'm right? Okay. So, and I'm guilty of it. It's a struggle. It's uncomfortable. But we have 2 jobs. And that is the focus you're going to hear again and again and again throughout this course. You have first job is lead generation. Because if you don't have anybody to talk to and do a real estate deal with, guess what? You're a secret agent. Because you're capable of it, but nobody knows it because you're not doing it. And how do we get better at something? Practice. Doing it again and again. So let's think about, let's say, when you went to do your first septic inspection. And you are a city girl or a city boy, and you've never really seen a septic system. And now we're standing over the hole talking to clients like, we know what we're talking about because, I'm a real estate agent. So I know all about septic. Okay, well, you are totally winging it. You don't know what the heck you're doing. You're calling all kinds of people. You're talking to all kinds of agents in the office because you're trying to figure out what exactly just happened at that septic inspection because you don't get it. Is this a fair statement to anybody? So now, 13 years, stood over a lot of holes. Septics really don't freak me out anymore. But when I first started, they did. So it's the same thing with lead generation. The first time you're going to call someone, you're going to want to vomit. Let's just put it out there. It's going to be awful. But it's going to get better. It's like the first time you had to tell a client that, oh, they got kicked out of their SOBP. You get over that one too. It comes with experience. Your skin gets thicker, your experience gets thicker, your ability to handle the objections gets stronger, so it becomes less uncomfortable the more you do it. Okay, so we have 2 jobs. What are our 2 jobs? Not everybody at once. Lead generation and real estate. Excellent. Okay, so ta-da, look, we're finished page 6. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to get into, does anybody have any questions on any of this, by the way? Apparently I don't know how to run this thing here. Oh. Lord, this is not Macworld. There, okay. 6 personal perspectives. So one of the things that you'll see throughout this, again, in this first section, is really, just a moment. I need, Elsa, would you give me some tape, please, from the front? I'm going to lose my mind if I drop this thing. Okay, so the 6 personal perspectives is basically differentiating those who achieve the highest level from those who don't seem to accomplish as much. So the concept is you've got these 3 bubbles: mindset, attitudes, and approach to life, and the idea that they are connected, okay? So this is the concept. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to just listen to me try and tape the microphone. It's going to make noise. I'm apologizing. Oops. Oh, that's the clip. I can't do that. Yes. Using one of what? Yeah. What are we doing? What do you want me to do with that?
Put that up inside of that and use that as your clip.
Okay, how about
Did you just do?
One moment, we're having a technical,
Trying to MacGyver.
we're MacGyvering the doohickey.
This might take too long.
You don't want to break the queue now. Tammy's names are sparkly, not one of these people. I don't understand.
If we had a little more time to play with this, we could get it better, but there you go. I'll have to clip that to your screen.
Okay, thank you. I don't know what just happened, but okay. Can you guys hear me now that there's been surgery done on the microphone? Okay, we're going to move on. Okay, so in this, if we flip over to page 8 and 9, they're calling them the 6 perspectives. I'm going to call them 6 skills that we want to work on. What are you doing? Oh, you're moving the pages for me. Thanks.
I'm not moving the pages. I'm getting all the down so you can see what.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. I missed all you people. Is somebody wrestling? Yes. That would have been thank you, Richard, for fixing the chat. So I'm going to move the chat. Hold on. I am so sorry for my online people. I'm known for a lot of things. My tech skills are not. I don't lead generate enough. Let's just go back so that these people have great audio, sounds good. Good to go. Shelly is not lead generated. Everything wants me to do more. Shelly doesn't lead generate enough. Can they see us? Kelly Brown, because they hooked on a lead is now a thing. Work the lead and sale, and then they say, shoot, now who do I talk to? That's exactly what we were talking about at the beginning, that we get tunnel visioned into the deal we're doing, and we come up from air from our deals and go, oh gosh, I have no business. I don't know who I'm going to talk to now. So that's the idea, is keeping that funnel full, and we're going to talk lots and lots about the funnel. So we're going to move on. So please, if you type something and we don't see it, unmute and make us pay attention. We don't want to lose you. We want you engaged and involved in this. So under the 6 perspectives, they're really 6 skills, really, is what, they're calling them perspectives, but they're really skill sets and decisions that you're making in terms of how your business goes forward. So the first one is committing to self-mastery. So this book defines self-mastery as the possession of great knowledge, skills, and habits that make you the master of you. Has anybody ever felt in their business that their business is controlling them versus they're controlling their business? Yes? Every day. Wendy says, I got tons of head nods. Okay. So can I go down the page? Yes. No, the cords and all the gear. You got it? Thank you. Richard is now my wonderful Vanna. He knows how to use a PC. Okay, so when you feel like your business is running you, this is also where these 6 perspectives are going to come from. Because the idea being that the 6 perspectives are going to help focus your actions so that you are in control of your business. There's nothing more frustrating than feeling like you're buried by your business, or that your clients have complete control of your personal life, or that they have control of your ability to eat. How's that for a feeling? Anybody ever had that feeling? Has anybody ever been sitting, working on a deal and it's falling apart and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I can't afford for this deal to fall apart?
It's called desperation.
Desperation, right? But I want to have real conversations with you guys, because if not, I don't think we're going to learn anything. I think at some point in everybody's career, there's been a point where that one deal feels so incredibly pivotal. Whether you're new or you're experienced and you're in a slump, how do we get out of that? Is that a fair commentary?
Yes.
So when we're thinking about that, the idea being, let's look at how we can get the control back. So one of them is self-mastery. So when you're committing to self-mastery, it talks about knowing your goals, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, and knowing how to work with both to master the knowledge, skills, and reach your goals. So if we talk about that in this example, so training is one part, that's available in the office and that type of thing. There's a whole other aspect to self-mastery, and that would be you being disciplined with your own business to learn, read, collaborate with a peer, have an accountability partner, a variety of different things that we can do to acknowledge what we're good at. It's also partnering and working in collaboration with people that complement your strengths and weaknesses versus you have the same strengths and the same weaknesses so nobody challenges anybody. Because that would be a more comfortable partnership, wouldn't it? Right? So if we're surrounding ourselves, for lack of a better word, sometimes with our opposite, we will push ourselves further because we'll learn new things from each other. Okay? So self-mastery is about knowing your goals. So when we're talking about knowing your goals, we're going to do those a little bit further. Who here can tell me confidently, without giving me a yes ma'am answer, that they actually know their goals like really well? Shelley?
Well, I do because I post.
I'm afraid to unclip myself here.
You want me to?
Yeah, you can talk to me. There you go. I sure have the monitor.
Sorry. I know my goals because I post them on my wall around my desk so that I am reminded every day this is what my achievement or my goals are and what I want to achieve by the end of the month. So they're right there.
They're right there. Does visible, okay? Does everybody have some form of a system like that? Richard has a wall. Yes.
Of course I have something to track. Why would I not? Yeah, I mean, mine starts with your business goals at the start of the year. And then I have a tracker sheet, and it's got every single month on there. It's got all my lead sources. It's got the goals for the lead sources, where they come from, so that not only can you see it every day when you walk in, you can see where you are every day compared to that. So then you can make immediate changes as opposed to going halfway through the year going, I should look at my goals. Oh yeah, I'm actually like 40% behind. To try and catch up in half a year, forget it, it's not going to happen. So mine's all about tracking it every single week. And I have a set time. Thursday, 3:30 p.m., I go through all of the goals and see exactly where we are on track, as well as every morning, but that's just me.
We're just going to make you the poster child. That's just good. Cody is saying, I'd like to float over 10 properties at a given time, make contact once a week with each client. Financially, I'd like to be able to afford diapers. So far, so good. Yes, he is a father to be very soon. And you know what? And that's the type of thing where you're looking at not only the goal, but how do we do it and how do we hold ourselves accountable, right? That's called, yeah, Richard's typing for us. Okay, so the concept of self-mastery is you being in control of your goals and your decision. So the next piece is committing to the 80-20 principle. Has anybody ever heard of this before? Okay, so, oh yes. Oh, okay. Now, yes, okay, sorry. So for the people online, what are you looking at right now? Where do we need to move the video? Because now we move, I think they're probably looking. Well, I don't really want to be filmed, but it's not the end of the world.
It used to be just on the flip chart.
Yeah, it was just on the flip chart, so I don't know.
They can see the flipboard.
See, you can still see the flipboard? I don't know. I would hate to have them looking at a video of nothing. Okay, well, we'll leave it there for now. If there's a problem, let us know. Okay, so the 80-20.
We're seeing the flipboard, Ann.
What?
I can see the flipboard.
Okay.
This is good.
Okay. Maybe it's frozen. Maybe it's frozen.
Is there any way we can see what they're seeing?
Yes, but I don't know what that is. We need Aaron. Okay, we're gonna keep going for now. Okay, so the 80-20. Who can tell me about the 80-20? Now that I figured out how to work my new magic clip, thank you. Oh, sorry. Careful. Be very careful with the duplicate.
Sure. It's just a theory that 20% of the people do 80% of the work.
Okay, yes.
Or
But
business, I should say.
Okay, but let's talk about activities. Okay, we're talking about the 80-20 in terms of activities for your business.
I can.
Yes, if Rebecca says I can read it off the damn screen just as well as you can. So, yeah, so the idea being that you're going to get 80% of your results from 20% of your activities. And I think at the very beginning, when we talked about where our businesses are, Wendy actually mentioned a really good statement, which is that I need to stop shuffling paper. And we've talked about this in lots of different training sessions where we do a lot of busy work. We feel very busy. We've made some lovely files. And we've made some beautiful lists. We have some really spectacular binders with beautiful tabs. We are busy, busy realtors, right? Haven't talked to anybody. Haven't shown a house. No idea what's happening in my market. And haven't done an open house in I don't know how long. But I am the most organized secret realtor, secret agent you're ever going to find. Okay? So the idea is of the activities you're doing in a given day, what are they? And are they your top producing activities? So the idea being to identify what is the 20% of your activities that make you money. What are your money-making activities? And we're going to do an exercise on that shortly. High achievers. So this one was very interesting to me. This is about moving from E to P. And when I read this, I went, what? What the heck is E to P? Anyway, and the idea is that people come into real estate and they're like, I own my own business. I'm a real estate agent. I'm an independent contractor. I can do whatever I want with my day. Look at me. No one has to tell me what to do. I don't actually know what to do myself, but that's not the point. I get to do what I want. I'm my own boss. Everyone had that moment? Janice is laughing at me. So we're very, we all like to consider ourselves as being entrepreneurs, and we're going to create our own system, and we're going to do this, and we're going to invent this giant wheel that makes the real estate world turn on its heel, and we're going to change everything because we're entrepreneurial. And a lot of times we spend a lot of time being creative and entrepreneurial and not necessarily with any purpose or direction. So the idea in this section is a habit or a discussion on going from being entrepreneurial to purposeful. Okay, so the idea being is, it's said very well here, Ignite is not only designed to help you start your business, it's designed to help you grow your business. It will help you move from entrepreneurial to purposeful with skill mastery. Once you have mastered the skill, then you have the ability to become more creative. But the idea is sometimes we get caught at the beginning in the inventing the wheel and putting our own stamp and, et cetera, et cetera. Is that a fair comment to people? Okay. So the next one is making learning-based being the foundation of your action plan. A learning-based individual is an individual who has made the decision to use effective learning as the foundation piece for their action plan to develop their life. Training and education are a big part of moving forward to attain your goals and succeed at a high level. Learning-based individuals commit to the process of acquiring skill-based habits. So we had a chat about this actually the other day in the RCD training, which is the training for the new agents. We had a conversation about, taking, an hour out of your week to, read an update on the Financial Times. Make sure, read All Nova Scotia, read a CMHC report off their website, check what's happening on CREA's website. Because your clients are reading the news. Your clients are watching these newscasts. If you don't watch the news, then you need to find some other way to be informed. You need to read different sources that are credible so that you are, at the very least, on the same equal footing about the market and knowledge and banking things and various aspects that are happening in the local market as your clients. Because you're the expert that they're hiring. So when we're talking about learning-based, we're not just talking about KW programs and training and skill sets and scripts and all that sort of stuff. We're also talking about being learning-based to be a quality realtor, to be able to have an informed conversation. If you decide you're going to start adding new construction as an aspect to your business and you've never worked as a buyer's agent on new construction, then maybe you ask an existing new construction agent to shadow them. Maybe you go to open houses. Maybe you go to a Nova Scotia home builders lunch. Maybe you go on their website. Maybe you do other things so that you are credible in being able to have a conversation with a client when they want to talk about that thing. Maybe you don't know anything about mortgages. Maybe you don't know the difference between fixed and variable, and you don't really understand the differences. Maybe you don't understand how portability works. Maybe you don't know you have to have a credit application done to port a mortgage, and you can't just move it. If you're on maternity leave and you want to port your mortgage and your income's 50%, you're not porting that mortgage necessarily. So you need to know these things to be able to work with your clients. So when we're talking about knowledge base, we are not just talking about only attending KW events. That's not what this is about. This is about general knowledge that you are an industry leading expert, which will therefore make you entrepreneurial, which will therefore make you more successful in meeting your goals. Does this make sense to people? How many people have time committed in their weekly schedule to do any of these things? One. And that would be normal. But honestly, Shelley, that would be normal, And so I'm asking you, and I would challenge you when we get into later modules about time management and time blocking and various things, is to make sure you have, at the very least, a half an hour a week. I would argue you need more. But, if you have nothing, let's not make it too big a goal because you're not going to do it. Let's start with pieces. And it will sort of self-perpetuate because you'll start to get the bug about learning those different things and finding it interesting and attending those things. If you're new to the province or you're new to the area or you've lived in downtown Halifax your whole life and you've never been to Sackville, really, you need to go on the agent tours. You need to go visit open houses on the weekends. You need to know so that if you ever had a client that wants to talk about where would they maybe go as a starter market and they don't want to go to Dartmouth, do you have any idea? Right? Looking it up online is not the same as going and seeing it with your eyeballs. Okay? So these are ideas behind being learning-based that is essential. Okay? So the next one is removing limiting, oh, sorry. Wait, sorry? A very teeny break, yes, we can take 5 minutes. I'm going to turn my mic off for a minute. So everybody online, we're just going to pause for 5 minutes.
Being exactly how they built their business from 200,000 to 250 million is insane. And that's all I do. I go for a 35-minute walk around the block, and every morning I'm listening to Pat Hyben interviews real estate rock stars. I'm listening to The Water Cooler by Curator. I'm listening to one of 7 different things that's just every morning for half an hour is putting good stuff in my brain, as opposed to sometimes the negativeness that comes from Globe and Mail and CTV and constantly negative news, CNN, all that kind of stuff. And it's just about, for me, it's about starting my day off in the right mindset.
Would a list of podcast sites or people, would that be something that you would be able to share with the group? Yeah, because people they don't know where to look, right? We do have the email that's going to go to the students at the end of the day. So if you just give the list to Aaron and then we can include them.
I'll take a screenshot of that.
That'd be awesome. Thank you. Yeah, because that's the type of thing where sharing it together, people don't even know, right? And they could, stream it in their car or do whatever, right?
Whenever you want to do it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Half the time, instead of listening to the latest rock music while you're running on the treadmill for 30 minutes, look at that.
Well, I'd have to be running on the treadmill first. That would be the first problem.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
But either way, for me, it's all about starting the day off with good stuff
Yeah.
in my head.
Oh, I agree. I like to read. I'm a reader. So
I need
yeah, but a lot of people aren't readers, right? And would rather listen and hear the intonation of someone's voice and all of that to feel it, right? But I think that's great.
I'll get Melissa to come and do this. I think
Get going again. If I can corral my people out of the kitchen. Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. For those of you online, Shelly has just passed around Girl Guide cookies just to, oh, I have to add Chris Braid to my list here. Just a little tease, yeah. Isn't it? If you were here, I'll keep one for after because I don't want to chew in their ear. Thank you. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Okay, so we're going to get going. Do we have anybody left in the kitchen? Shelley's on it. Okay, so the next section, so there's two more beliefs, two more modules to this piece. And the next one is limiting beliefs. I love these ones. So I have to be an expert to know everything before I can begin my business, or before I can move to the next level, or before I can do X or Y. Pardon me, I can't be successful yet. I will need to invest a lot of money to kickstart my real estate career. And because I'm in the business will come to me naturally. I don't need to devote 3 hours a day to lead generation. So how would you answer these questions? Let's start with the first one. I have to be an expert and know everything before I can begin my business. I'm not valid yet. Okay, Rebecca, comment.
I think that everybody knows that I'm here all the time for training. So for me, it was a big thing when I first started, but I guess it's trusting your gut that you know to ask the right questions, and so that you'll become an expert through doing it. Because waiting around, you can't wait around until you know everything, because I don't know if everybody will ever know everything, right?
I know you guys think I know everything, but I really don't. I really have absolutely, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I really, I don't know that much more than you guys. I just may have retained it differently in my brain in forms of a rule. But there's an expression, and there's certain people in the room who will know this expression very well, and it's called getting ready to get ready to go. Anybody ever heard this expression? I don't care whether you're a brand new agent. I don't care if you've been doing this for 15 years. There's an aspect of your business you haven't done yet because you're still getting ready to get ready to go. And it's based in fear. It's based on not wanting to be uncomfortable. It's based on moving to that next level. When you're brand new, it's a fear that you're going to do something horrible, and your clients who are depending on you and expecting you to know all the answers are going to be sorely disappointed, and you're going to mess everything up. Shelley.
I don't know if this is relative to limiting beliefs, but I've been doing this for over 14 years, and this industry is ever changing. So I would never stand back and think that there wasn't something else I could learn. 14 years ago when I started in this industry, we didn't even know what radon gas was, much less have it as part of a contract now.
Well, Kitech certainly didn't exist, yeah. Henry, the day you know everything is the day you know nothing. Ooh, I love that. That is so profound. Excellent. Are we going to give you credit for that, Henry? Did you find it somewhere? But the idea is not to not move forward or not to try while waiting to become this expert. There's a word I would like you to substitute in this section. And if you change this word, it will change how quickly you engage in your business. What if we said the same sentence and said instead, I need to be a professional, not an expert? What if we use the word professional? So a professional has access to resources. A professional is willing to be accountable. A professional is willing to bring in the septic guy or call the broker or call the lawyer and ask for help because it's their profession and it's a duty of care, and therefore they're acting in the best interests of their clients. What if we changed our mentality to being, I need to be a professional? Does that sink in? Do you feel how different that sounds? To me, it's extremely powerful and has the ability to, change how you move forward, because every single one of you are professional. You're committed, you're focused, you attend your training, you work with your clients with the best of duty of care as you're humanly capable of. You reach out to peers when you need it. You have access to resources. You are professional realtors. That's a completely different standard that you're setting for yourself. Wendy, hang on.
I have 6 years of experience in real estate, and at first I thought that I had to know everything. But am I ever getting comfortable in admitting that I don't know and say I'm a professional with resources is the key, and it's really working. And as of last night, there's a $500,000 deal on the table, and I'm admitting I don't know, and it feels good, to be honest.
It's awesome. I always suggest to agents, and a lot of you've heard me say this when you've called me for help or that type of thing, and it's something that I personally use in all of my listing appointments and even my buyer consults, is to say, we are going to run into a situation throughout your transaction that I'm probably not going to know the answer to. But I am committed to finding the answer. I'm not going to pretend I know everything, but I know someone who knows the answer. Oh. No, two deals. Outside doctors. I was going to say, it's like something similar, like going to the doctors. Doctors, like, they're practicing medicine. Yes. And I'm not saying that we're, doctors. However, often doctors do not know the answer right away, right? Yeah. So they refer you to a specialist. They send you out. They do a test. They do whatever. Shelley, that's a really good point. Two deals are never the same.
The one thing I've always found is that when you admit that you do not know, but you'll find an answer, you'll gain the respect of that person way faster than by trying to pretend that you know.
Absolutely, 100%. I agree, 100%. So if we're prepared to be, I'm going to call it more vulnerable with our clients, with our peers, with our groups, with our mortgage people, etc., whoever we're working with, and admit that we're not experts at every single aspect, but that we're professionals and therefore we will work to endeavor to get the answer, are you not then removing a huge obstacle to getting going? Because it's a completely different mindset, okay? So when we're looking at that, the last piece of that is being accountable. Because we can remove the limiting beliefs, we can be prepared to try, we can do all of the things we just talked about, but ultimately we need to be accountable. So who do we need to be accountable to? Let's talk about that for a second. Shelley's like, oh my God, don't give me the mic again. Matthew, hold on a minute.
Well, I think my first kind of like pat response is be accountable to myself. Yeah. But I think also sometimes maybe I'm not accountable enough to my partner or someone close to me that can help me say, you need to schedule your time, or, you don't have to work 24/7. You need to be smarter about your schedule and just things like that. Like just accepting.
Maybe we should turn off that Netflix movie because you said you're supposed to work.
Maybe.
Maybe. I think, when we're talking about, sorry, Troy. My apologies.
I'd say the key is to be accountable to your goals. You can be accountable to yourself. Did you do it? Nope. Okay, great, thanks. That's accountable to yourself. You set the goals because that's what you want to achieve, and then you have to do the work to achieve those goals. If you're not accountable to your goals, then you don't actually achieve what you said you wanted to achieve.
I think that's a great answer. So if we have our goals, now key to that is the goals cannot be in a drawer, in a file folder. Out of sight, out of mind. Everybody ever heard that, right? So as Shelley said, have them visible wherever it is, whether it's a notification that comes on your phone, it's a big giant, go old school, buy a piece of Bristol board, I don't know, get a whiteboard. It doesn't have to be this big technological thing, but being accountable to your goals is another way. So then if we're going to do that, another piece to that is adding in elements of accountability. So there's accountability to yourself, but we're all really good, if we're honest, at justifying other activities or rationalizations in our lives as to why we do or do not do things. Well, I'm going to do that later because I'm going to do this first. Or I'm going to do X. I'm going to call them later because I'm just working on X and I'm making a shiny binder, right? So I'm going to go to the gym later. We're all very good at this in all different things. Oh, that closet, I'm going to organize that when I move. Because that's probably the first time I'll get to it. But we make decisions in terms of being accountable. So one of the things that we'll see, and it's going to come up later in the book, is there's an accountability contract in Ignite that you are asked to sign with a partner or a significant other or someone in your life that you can be accountable to, that they will also help hold you accountable to what you've decided you're going to do. Okay, so that's the other idea in that. And then it's also to have a peer accountability partner in your own business. And I do challenge you to not partner with your twin, because it won't push you. If it's someone with whom you already are really good friends and you know each other's excuses and you know yada yada, you're pretty easily going to excuse each other and accept excuses. So I do challenge you to go a little bit outside the box on that. It's your choice. If you actually are prepared to be truly held accountable, okay? So that's what that one's about. Okay, so we are going to flip through over to page 15. I just want to run through sort of what some of the expectations are for the Ignite program. Oh, look, Tammy, you are amazing. So, she can work PC. So just sort of the basis of Ignite and how it works is to arrive into class on time or online, return promptly from breaks, be fully present. So when we're talking about laptops and things, if you have your laptops open, I'm assuming and trusting that they are open, iPads are open to your KW Ignite, and that they are not open to Facebook, etc., because it kind of defeats the point. We want you to be engaged. How you participate here is how you participate everywhere is a concept. So, this is a safe place, for lack of a better word. This is where we're allowed to admit what we don't know or what we need help with, and gather the strength from the group, both online and in class, to help each other grow. So if you have a question or a comment or something that you're struggling with as we go through, please share it, because the wealth of knowledge in this peer group is phenomenal. And I'm sure someone here, as we said at the beginning, we don't need to know all the answers. Someone in this group will know one or have an idea that you'll go, oh my gosh, that's it. That's the piece. That's the missing thing for me, because it's always different for everybody. Okay, so help each other. Consider everything we discuss in this room as confidential. Commit to implementing at least one thing you learn, and of course we would like you to have fun. You have such a great group of teachers through this program, and that's one of the things that we're doing is mixing it up so that you get different perspectives and different experiences and different skill sets coming to you with information and knowledge throughout the program. So was there anything I missed online? Are we okay? Okay. Okay. So we're going to look at page 16, and Tammy's already there. Okay. So I should not be surprised at all. Okay, so we're just going to get into the meat of it now that we've gotten sort of the whole mindset thing and that concept ready to go. So questions. What is your job, everybody? So if apparently people can see the flip chart, which I don't really understand because it's way over here. My brain says logically that they can't see it. Can you now see the flip chart for anybody online? Yes. Okay. If I need to move the camera up or down or something, somebody can let me know. Okay. So what is your job, people? Troy. Lead generation. Who is your customer? Client, customer, whatever. We're not going to get into agency in this module. Matthew? Everyone. You're correct, right? Unless they're under contract with someone else. Of course, we'll add that disclaimer. And Henry has an answer. Help clients help clients, buyers with the buying and the purchase process. Excellent. Oh, what is your job? Yep. Sorry. I think one of the things that we forget is that we prejudge and we decide that certain people wouldn't use us or aren't going to buy real estate or whatever. And have you ever had that happen where later on the person that you least expected becomes the best client, or you later find out that they bought this, you know, $750,000 thing and you thought they didn't have 2 cents to rub together? Okay. Everybody is a potential client. Matthew is sitting at the possible furthest place away.
But I just wanted to say also, like, customers within the, I think even people within the industry are our customers in essence. Like, if another realtor or a mortgage broker or anybody that I interact with reaches out to me for something, I try to treat them with the same level of response and everything that I would someone who I think is going to, like, give me a deal tomorrow.
That is just the most amazing answer. Love it. So I'm going to tell you something that I've talked about. This is going to be me putting your NSAR hat on for a second here. Fellow realtors are also your clients because they're the ones selling your listings. They're the ones whom you're bringing buyers to. So your interaction with your peers, I believe, is just as important. Anybody who's been in this business for more than, I don't even know how many years, sometimes it doesn't even take months, pretty quickly finds out who certain peers are in our industry that you really want to avoid showing their properties. Let's be honest. Let's just pretend that that's not true, because it is true. Or you've done a deal with them and it was so difficult that you think, I really don't really ever want to do a deal with these people again. And that's going to be the one your client picks the next time, of course, because you put that out to the universe in a negative way, so that's what you're going to bring back. But the idea being that your peer relationships are very, very important, not only if we're thinking of the everyone in terms of who actually physically buys and sells real estate from you, but who sends you business. Your relationships with other KW realtors within your own office, if you're away, and they're away, they want someone to cover your business. Who are they going to pick? You need somebody in another region of the province that we have great experts in, or professionals, sorry, I'll change my wording, that, you know, we can send internally. You know, building a referral-based business with realtors and mortgage people and bankers and people all across Canada. These are all clients. Everybody who has the potential to not only do business with you, but to send you business needs to count when we're talking about the everybody. Okay? And how you treat those relationships, oh no, that's just a mortgage guy, it's just a lawyer, I'll go back to him later. Oh, it's just a realtor from Exeter, or it's just a so-and-so from Sutton. You know what? That kind of thing, you know, you want your reputation when you're doing deals for them to look at your name on that listing cut and go, oh my gosh, you know, if we end up buying this one, you know, we're going to be dealing with Shelley and she's fantastic and I know this is going to be a great experience. That's what you want them saying to their clients. So the everybody really is everybody. Okay? The next question is, what is your product? This is a good one. What's your product? I'm going to ask Chris Bray what our product is. You can unmute yourself, Chris, or you can type whatever you want. Expertise. You think she's done this before. Your product is your knowledge, your expertise, and your ability to deliver a stellar experience every time. So it's knowledge. I'm going to put experience versus expertise because I want to make sure that we're not creating that very specific standard. And a stellar experience. I hope the people can read my writing, by the way, that are online. So it is your expertise, but everybody's at various levels of expertise. So that's why I'm just using the word experience and knowledge, okay, so that I don't set this weird number, okay? So when we're looking at that, we're going to go through, there's 4 skills that come from that. One of them is knowing your why and your monetary goal. Number 2 is a commitment to daily lead generation. Number 3 is using influencing sales language. And number 4 is being accountable to your big why and your monetary goal. Okay? So the idea is now we have this mindset, we know what our job is, we know what the 6 foundations are that are going to help us, so now we can move forward and actually put it into action. Okay? So I'm just going to watch our time here. It's 10:30. We're going to break at 10:50 for 10 minutes, and then we'll come back just to make sure that we don't drain everybody's brains. Okay? So I'd like you to look at page 17. Okay. So this is a hard one to do in the sense for a lot of people, and sometimes it feels a little airy-fairy. I'm going to use a very technical real estate term there for you. But it is important. So when we're looking at your big why, who can tell me what a big why is? I'm going to ask Kelly Brown if she can tell me what a big why is. Not necessarily your big why, but a big why.
Your big why is, you know, what actually is going to push you to get out of bed in the morning to make sure that you achieve those goals.
Exactly.
So it can be to leave a legacy behind for your family. You know, it can be to give your daughter a life you never had. It can be all kinds of different things.
Exactly.
But it has to be really big so that it makes you do it.
Well, and that's the thing. So we're going to go through identifying what your big why is. But the easiest way I can explain it is when you've had 2 horrible deals, let's say, and let's look at last winter. Okay, last winter is the perfect example of having a big why. You cannot get out of your own driveway because you're frozen in. You can't park on a side street to show a house because there is no side street left because of the snow mountains. You finally find a place to park with your client, and then the driveway is not plowed where you go, and you form a human chain with your clients, which I actually did at one property. And the 3 of us skittered our way up to the front step, which was also not cleared, and made our way into the house to show it. That wasn't the house they wanted to buy. We did find a house that day. But what is going to make you not cancel that appointment? What is going to make you do the things you do on miserable weather, or when you're sick, or when you're tired, or when you've had a bad run? What makes you keep going? Honestly, it's not just about the sunny times. Oh, I'm super happy in my business, and I'm motivated by my big why, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's great, but there's more to it. It's really about pushing you when you're stuck. It's pushing you past fear. It's pushing you to be uncomfortable. It's pushing you to show up for training. It's pushing you to do the next big thing in your business. It's your big why. Okay? So we're going to talk about that. Okay? So when you are following it, it works. So we are going to flip over to page 18 for a second. And this is asking you to think about sort of where you are going to be in a year. So I suspect I'm supposed to ask you to visualize, but I'm just going to go through it however you choose to do this, whether you close your eyes or you just focus or whatever. Just imagine yourself 12 months from now. So let's say it's April 25th, 2017. Oh my gosh. Your business is thriving and your life is everything you've dreamed of. Your customers rave about the experience and value you provide and think of you when they have a real estate need. Your family and friends are so proud of your success and are constantly referring business your way. You are helping others live their dream of owning a home because you are focused on helping them to get what they desire. You are building the foundation and momentum for your entire career and gaining relationships and experience and the income you desire. You are the top sales representative in your market center or rookie of the year if you're new. You're poised to hire a part-time assistant to handle your 80% while you take care of the 20% that grows your business. You are on the path to building a career worth having, a business worth owning, and a life worth living. Doesn't that give you sort of a calming feel versus, oh my gosh, where's my next deal? Oh my gosh, I have a septic, I gotta run here, you know, that feeling that everybody gets. Bless you, Rebecca. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and find the motivation behind helping you get to those pieces. So there's an exercise on page 19, and we're going to take 5 minutes, because it says 5 minutes. And I want you to answer these questions. So these are personal. You will be given an opportunity after to share if you're comfortable sharing, but it is up to you. I would rather that you own it, and if you're not comfortable sharing, that's okay, in the sense of it being real. And this might be something you start now and have to finish a little bit later at home in private and go a little bit further with. But I want you to write your answers to the questions. What is or was your driving motivation? The why or goal for a career in real estate? What will achieving your goal mean for you? In what ways will your life change? And what doors will open for you? So let's take 5 minutes. It's 10:36. 10:41. We will check back in on answers. So everybody take a minute and please write your stuff down. You're stuck on the last one? Well, that could be, for example, depending on what you wrote, it could be career opportunities, maybe it's additional, maybe a builder finds you, maybe you're the opportunity of being on the board, I don't know. Maybe it's a stronger referral-based business, maybe it's more web presence, maybe it's an opportunity personally, that has nothing to do, because this isn't necessarily only about business, right? Yeah, my mic's back on. Okay, so another minute or so. Does anybody have any questions before we go through it? Is anybody stuck? No? Okay. Okay, wait our one more minute. Okay, so let's take a minute and go through some of these exercises together. So now, actually, we have to do one more thing. So on the other side of your page, if you flip over to page 20, now they're saying that this takes 15 minutes, but I don't think it will necessarily. We'll take a few minutes to do this, and then we'll chat about it. Okay, so I think we'll make the total take about that much, and then we'll take our break. And we can take our breaks. Knowing our big whys, we'll be in a great place. Okay, so it says, from the answers on the previous page, write one statement that summarizes your big why. One statement. Janice is giving me the deer in the headlights look. Says, oh my God, I don't know how to do that. Okay, why don't we take a minute? Let's go back for a second then. If people are stuck, let's take a second and chat about the first page. Because if you don't feel like you're in the right direction on the first page, then doing the second page isn't going to work. Is that okay? Okay, so we'll go back to page 19 for a second. So I'm going to pick on Tammy. How did I know that? To share with us her answers to her 3 questions.
That's not fair. One's good.
One question, then we'll start with that. So if you could answer the first one, what is your driving motivation?
My driving motivation was changing from feeling like I was working a job to going to a career, so I had a little bit more, I felt, control over my own destiny.
That's awesome. Anybody else would like to share their driving motivation? Shelley?
I want to be able to provide and share with my children and grandchildren vacation with purpose. Something like I did this year, but I need financial means to do that. So that's my big why.
That's phenomenal. I'm going to just hold Wendy for 1 second and we're going to read Henry's out. Making people's day better and easier, the honor of helping others find a place to be home, assisting those not just with a house, but a lifestyle they always wanted to live. That's awesome. Okay, I'm walking down through the aisles here. Bear with me. It was Wendy, not Janice. Right?
Henry's comments are awesome. So my why is to earn a living doing what I enjoy. And at first it was all about the money, but now I'm finding that it's helping others that I enjoy so much. But yes, I still have to make a living, so I'm hoping that it will have a boomerang effect when I focus on others.
That's awesome. Anybody else? Shelley online. Shelley online. Pay off my mortgage. That's a good one. Several of you have made the same comments in different ways, which I don't know if you realize you've done. So Wendy said it, Shelley said it, Henry said it. And it's the idea of your why is not actually about you. In 3 of you, 3 of the 4 that have said, 5, sorry, was about, yes, but it was this idea of you get what you give and this concept of contribution. And I think that is a driving force behind a lot of you that sometimes you don't even realize. If you think about the things you do for clients, the extra miles you go, the psychology sessions we have with our clients, the stuff we internalize and personalize and offer to help them with that are completely outside of the physical realm of doing real estate. That's because you're coming to it from a place of contribution. And in a lot of cases, it's a driving force behind what you're doing and you don't even realize that that's why. Okay? So the next question was, what will achieving your goal mean for you? Anybody able or willing to share that one? Shelley will pay off her mortgage. Anybody else want to share on that one? So Tammy, I was going to extrapolate for you.
So the spinoff from the career in real estate has been the sense of satisfaction in knowing that I am actually helping folks that need our assistance to get to where they have a nice, safe, comfortable home. What about for you as well? It's a sense of satisfaction.
But, and that's important because when you, Shelley says, in some cases it might be pride, it might be confidence, it might be all these other things that happen because maybe you weren't in a position in your life before where you had that ability to affect other people, and you now have a different sense of yourself as a result. And sometimes the spin-off is in other things like your personal relationships or your health or in other areas that you now take on with a different sense and a different, your shoulders are back a little more and you feel more confident. So sometimes it's different, like it's not always this black and white. So I do really encourage you to take a few minutes when you're home tonight to go into this a little bit more. It's a little difficult in this environment, and I do understand that. So the next question was, in what ways will your life change? We've touched on that a little bit. In some cases it's monetarily, in some cases it's balance in life, in some cases it's financial stability, in some cases it's setting an example. I know for myself, I can share a little bit with you, for me, a lot of it was, I've been self-employed since my daughter was 2 years old. She has never ever known any other thing except mom going out and hunting for business. And, you know, as my career has changed and I've taken on different roles in broker world and at the board and being involved in various things like that, for me a lot of it was setting a strong example for my daughter. That is a huge big why for me, that there is nothing she can't do and that there are no limits to her, and that her being in business for herself or stretching or reaching and setting certain standards of excellence as to what is in my personal judgment with as a parent, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable, and how she is to function and contribute to society and how she should strive. Those were a big part of what I was doing in my business. Obviously, I want to provide a quality of life for her. Obviously, I need to pay bills. Obviously, I'm not paying for university, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, obviously, there's that stuff. But ultimately, you know, I know when I, you know, got my appointment to the executive level of NSCR, she was sharing it and posting it about how proud she was of me. That to me is a huge one of my big whys. And I obviously have the same feeling for her and what she's done. But that concept was very important to me. So everybody has their own thing, and it's taking the time to figure out what it was so that when you're in those places where you don't want to do it or it's hard, why am I doing this? For me, I will tell you, for a lot of you who've known me longer than I've been at KW, one of the things that always happens for me is, and this again doesn't sound very real estate-y, but it is relevant in the decisions that I make, is what would my father expect me to do? Would my father be proud of my actions? Am I setting the right example? Am I treating someone as he would treat people? And that is something that is in me every single day. And it is essential in terms of how I'm acting and how I'm working. But everybody has their own thing. There's no right or wrong answer to this exercise.
Shelley and Cody.
Haha, that one light of thought works for me. Where?
Father, he works first.
Oh, right. Yes, that is true. So when we're looking at this, when you're looking at finding your big why, right, the idea is that it's not, you know, a 4-page thesis here on the next page. The idea is that it could be point form, it could be a sentence, it could be 3 different things, point, bing, bing, that those are your big why. It's not to say it's only one thing. The end result is that if you're working on your goals and someone is working with you, your accountability partner, Sean, myself, anybody else, a coach, and says to you, okay, so why didn't you do it? And you go, well, you know, I was busy and, you know, I was working on this deal and so I stopped doing this and, you know, whatever, or I stopped paying attention, or when was the last time you updated this or that? And, you know, we are able to then go back to you and say, okay, so let's talk about your big why. How does this activity get you to that big why? And it's that sort of aha moment where you go, oh, it doesn't. And sometimes it's all we need, because in a lot of people's cases, and to be perfectly honest, in coaching people for 13 years in real estate, I've never seen money as the motivator. It's never enough. It's part of it, but it's never enough. It's never the only thing that makes you do what you do. It's not the thing that makes you go and help clients hump furniture, clean out things. It's not what makes you do it. You do it because you care. You do it because you want to help. You do it. You want to come from contribution. So yes, do you want to do it and not get paid? No, let's not be ridiculous here. But but that's not. You're not going. Oh, that's worth $10. Like you don't. Our brains don't work like that. Okay. You were going to say something, Tammy? Oh, it's 10:51. Oh, we're going to take a break. Okay, so we're going to take a break now till 11. I have no idea whether I'm going to get through this entire module in my last hour, but we'll do what we can do. I hope you're getting something from it so far. What I'd like us to do is take 10 minutes. We'll just regroup right at 11. Think about your why for 10 minutes. Please take 10 minutes and just, as you're milling around, just sort of let it run through your brain and think about what you're doing and why you're doing it. And the questions here are, use the camera on your phone. It says, take a picture of your big why and make it your new background. So you will see it and be reminded of it every time you use your phone, which actually is, I think, kind of cool. Write your answers to these questions. What could get in the way of achieving your big why, and how can you prevent that? So you may or may not have that completed today in the class. That's fine. But the idea is that, just so you know, when you're doing the Ignite sessions, the idea is to always have them, like if there's homework or anything to do, that you do it and you have it ready for the next one, because everything builds in Ignite on the last one. Okay, so you don't get to file it away and pretend that module 1 didn't happen. Okay, okay. So we're going to break. We'll be back at 11. people because it's 11. Corralling. Okay, everybody, we're going to get going again for those of my people that are online as well. So I was just talking to Janice, and she mentioned, she was asking me about how to formulate all the stuff she had listed into becoming her big why. And so I thought I would just take a second, since I'm already off schedule, you know, what the heck, what's another 2 minutes, and talk to you about how to actually take a list of things to create them into a big why. Because sometimes you're stuck there and you don't know how to make it into a big why. Is anybody stuck? Yes, no, blank stares. You're okay? Are you okay? Okay, well, I'll just show a quick example in case any of my online people are stuck. So, can I use your example, Janice? Okay, so Janice said, can you read it to me again? Because I remember it, but I don't want to paraphrase your words.
Family.
Family.
Mortgage free. Travel like long time frames with them.
Travel for long with family.
And then support children in developing countries.
Support children, families in developing countries. Okay. So Janice said these are the things that motivate her, that make her want to trudge through an icy driveway and create a human chain to get into a house. So what I was suggesting to her is that these are specific action items within a bigger why. And that sometimes when we look at it, we end up with this list, and depending on what it is, it's too big to formulate into a one thing, like your one thing that makes you get up in the morning. So when we look at a list like this, we might create something that says, and this is, I'm not making Janice's big why, please note, I'm just giving an example, okay? But it might be something along the lines of, you know, having a career that allows me to be centered around my family with financial stability in order to give back to others who have less. And the how, whether that means I go on a trip and I go deliver bunk beds like Shelley did, or I go work at Feed Nova Scotia, or I donate a percentage of my income, or whatever that is, there's no, that year, depending on what's happening or what is available, what opportunities are available, that might become her specific goal for that year, that's the action item, but that her big why is about being of contribution to others and being, you know, contributable to charity, keeping her family and her family time precious, and maintaining that while maintaining the financial wherewithal to do that. Do you see the difference between the list and the why? Anybody online have any comments? Okay, so if that makes it a little bit, hopefully that makes it a little bit clearer for anybody that might be stuck in a list mode.
So the idea is to put your list into a sentence or two.
Okay, does everybody remember grade 11 English? Sort of like creating your thesis for your essay, okay? So you then, the proof is then in the pudding. So if I use myself as an example, if I say I want to, you know, provide a quality of life for my daughter that is, you know, that is exceptional, I want to be a role model to her, I want her to achieve all of her financial goals and her dreams and that type of thing. I'm not listing that by doing that I'm always acting ethically, I'm always being responsible to you, I'm volunteering on the board. I'm not listing the things, I'm summarizing as my big why, because the items will change on a monthly, weekly, semi-annual basis depending on what's happening. Okay? But don't make it overly complicated. Like, don't make this into this grand thing that you can't own. You have to be able to internalize it. My only concern is that sometimes if our big why gets too micro-centered, such as pay off my mortgage, or that's a goal. It's not a big why. Does that make sense to everybody? That sometimes we get so focused on the specific item inside the big why that we actually lose the why. Because ultimately, you're looking at creating financial stability, financial independence, you're looking at whatever. And it might be, you know, maybe your big why is paying off your mortgage and that's it, and that's great. But I'm just saying sometimes it's actually bigger than that. What you're trying to do by doing that is create financial independence. If you were mortgage-free or debt-free or had more investments or had investment properties or whatever, then ultimately you're trying to create wealth. You're trying to create financial stability. You're trying to create a legacy for your children. You're trying to create that. How you're going to do that, your goal is that my first step is I'm going to work to pay off my mortgage. Henry has a comment. I want to feel great and love what I'm doing every day. That's awesome. But you guys understand the difference between the list and the why. There is a difference. Okay? You absolutely can interject. This works great, by the way.
For those that are struggling with this, I struggled with this for the first, I don't know, 5 times. I took something similar that kept asking me my big why. Don't get hung up on it. It will come to you as you go forward. Yeah. I can't wait to wear it.
Which way? Oh, this way. That's okay. We have that would be the wrestling match that they're hearing as we drop the mic again. Okay, so the idea behind this is to have that motivation, that thing that makes you go, oh, I'm prepared to be uncomfortable. Do you remember how we talked about at the beginning, being prepared to be uncomfortable and pushing through fear and being accountable and doing all of these things we've talked about for the last 2 hours? The end result is what's going to make you do them. Yes, Wendy.
The ideal why?
Can you have an example of the ideal why? There isn't one, I'm afraid. It's very personal, right? I would say if you were going to give an example, again, the only way I can is to try and use my own that the wording changes a little bit here and there. It's not that it's necessarily like a script, but it's knowing what drives you, okay?
Somebody's on vacation. Some people's are vacations every year. Some people are like Janice's and Shelley's to be able to give to other countries and less fortunate. Examples for your daughter, you know, supporting children, grandchildren. I've heard 100 different ones in all reality. It's very personal to you.
To me that sounds like a list. Like a list is to summarize your list.
Summarize your list, right? Because the end result is your list is going to change. Shelley.
I'll summarize mine as best I can. I want financial freedom, to be comfortable in my lifestyle, and be charitable as well.
That's phenomenal. Matthew asked if he can steal her big why, right?
I mean, that sounds vague, but that's specific for me.
Because you've done this enough times, you know you need to be somebody.
Yeah. It's a summary of the action items, because the action items are going to change. Okay? Okay, great, perfect. No, I'm glad we took a second to digress. Like I said, I'm already so off schedule. What the heck? Let's move on. Okay, so then we get into, I moved pages. Oh, yes, okay. So we're on page 21. So we're going to take a minute and do some math, because, you know, that's my favorite thing to do when it talks about how much money you're going to make. Okay, now we're going to use, so this is about this is one of, now I've taught goal setting lots of times. I've taught business planning lots of times. This is a very simple summary of everything we did in a one-day class. So it should be an easy refresher. So what we do here is we write down our annual monetary goal. I'll actually flip you over to page, oh no, sorry, I have to stay there for a second. Okay, so no, stay on 21 for 1 second. So let's take an annual monetary goal. Somebody give me a number. 100,000. I like a nice round number. Okay. Can my online people see the flip chart? Okay. So let's talk about an average sales price. Now we're going to pick one just for this exercise, and then you get to do your own math after, because a bunch of you have completely different areas you work in, or you might specialize in new construction and your average price is 400, or you might be in the valley and the average price is 175, or you might work in the south end and your average price is 600,000, or you might be in commercial and we have numbers that are just foolishness as far as those go. So we're just going to use, I think we'll use the 200 number that they give us, because it's a really, number one, it's really nice math for me to do up front and here in front of you, but it's also very attainable, right, in most markets, okay? So now they're suggesting a 3% commission rate. I don't think that's realistic in our market. I think we should use an average of 2.2. And the reason I say 2.2 is that we as sellers agents can guarantee 2.5 to the street, but we as buyers agents cannot guarantee what we get on that side. So if we are conservative in our averages, in order to ensure that we have enough units planned to meet our goals, if you make more money, no one is going to yell at me, okay? Now, my brain says that that's an average commission of $4,400. Am I right or wrong? Woohoo! I don't even have it written down here. Okay, so now you're going to flip over to page 22. So page 22, we just did part of that, okay? So then you're going to add in and we're going to figure out, based on your cap, what your sales need to be, etc., to equal the amount of money you're going to make, okay? So let's assume everybody in the room is on a 70-30, $20,000 cap. You might be on something different, and then guess what? You can figure it out after. But just for the purposes of math today, we're going to use this. So if you have sold, it's at 66,000 at a 70-30 that you hit your cap, right? But you never pay more than your cap, and you never pay more than your royalty. So let's say we have a total of 23,000. Now it's giving you the option to change these numbers, like if you might be on a team or a spousal group, and there's different scenarios to that, okay? So that's going to give us our total. So we're going to use the 23,000 because that's our number here. So we're going to flip pages again, please, Tammy. So, and look how it's already done for me. So now what we have to do is just change the math here. Okay, so it's saying if I want to net 100,000 as my income, which is what we put up here on the flip chart, and my market center cap is 23,000, that means I need to do a total of 123,000 before expenses to end up with 100,000 in commission to work with. It's a pretty easy spreadsheet, actually. So let's divide 123 by 4,400, please. Tammy's on it for me. No, 123, sweetie. It's the pretty nails. Yeah. 28 units is what it's saying. Yeah. 27.95455. Just 28. For those of us that know how to graph. Okay, so we're going to flip over to page 24 in your book. So then the question is, and anyone who's taken my courses on goals or business planning will remember this. So the next piece here is number 2 across this page, where it says, okay, so how many transactions do you need each month? So 28 divided by 12, it's like 2 point whatever. Let's assume you're not working 12 months a year, because you're not working 52 weeks, right? So let's say you're working 10 months. So it's 2.8 units per month to reach your goals. Is that correct? Thank you. I need a math checker, okay? So 2.8. That doesn't sound so bad, does it? That's a lot easier to chew on than trying to get your head around 123,000 GCI. We used a conservative sales price. We used a conservative commission rate. But if you aim yourself towards your units, by default, you will hit your goals. If you aim for GCI and you get a big check, what will happen? Matthew's raising his arms, yay, and you stop working. You go, great, I got 10 grand on that one. Whew, I'm ahead. Every single one of you does it. Every single one, including myself. If I don't track myself by units, I get caught in the big deal. Now, the other thing we talked about, and every member of this group so far has talked about helping. I've heard the word help all morning. Coming from contribution, helping clients, being of service, making a difference. Every single one of you has said it at some point or another in this conversation. Either you've typed it online or you've said it in the classroom. If you treat your deals based on units versus GCI, you will treat every client the same. You will never subconsciously prioritize the $500,000 house over the $100,000 mini because they're all clients. Wendy, you're giving me a confused look. Are you okay? If you treat your business in units versus GCI, you will treat every client the same. Because they're all important. Every single one of them is as important a unit, no matter what the paycheck is. And it keeps you in coming from contribution. It keeps you in being of service. It will also keep you on track, by the way. Okay? So now we have an idea. So any thoughts on this, doing this activity? It's asking us for ahas. And again, this isn't new information because I've taught this to most of you before. But the idea being, what do you think when you hear this? We break it down into 2.8 units per month. How does that feel? Doable. Achievable, doable are the words I'm hearing. When we get these big numbers in our head, the concept of how you're going to get to there paralyzes agents. It absolutely paralyzes you. You end up frozen in fear because instead of saying, all I need to do this month is get 2.8 appointments, you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm $80,000 off track for my GCI. How do I get that? It's a completely different mentality. You start from the negative instead of from the positive. If we focus on appointments, your business will naturally generate itself. So on that note, looking at page 25, it's talking about lead generation. Oh, big surprise. So it's talking about your journey to your monetary goal. And here's a really good example, and I love this in the book. If you ran a factory, would you know how long it takes to make a widget? I don't actually know what a widget is, I'm going to be honest.
A thingamajig.
A thingamajig. Okay, so that's what I thought it was. But it's saying, you know, for step 1, I don't know, designing the widget, and maybe 2 is cutting the widget, and I don't know, maybe 3 is manufacturing the widget, and maybe 4 is packaging the widget. I have no idea. But you would know, in order to run your machine, how long it takes to do things. So those of you that have taken classes with me before know you've also heard me yakking the yak about tracking, which is one of the hardest things for realtors to do. Very, very hard. Richard Payne is an exceptional tracker. He is an exceptional person in his skill to do that. The average agent, including myself, my other half, Chelsea, which is the tracker part of my brain, is constantly at Richard and I about tracking. So it's, you know, when we say know our strengths and our weaknesses, I'm very aware of what that is. I might be tracking it in my brain, but unfortunately, I haven't communicated it necessarily with anybody else on the team. So we have to find ways to do it. Tanya's looking at me going, yep. I'm getting better. She's like, no. So real estate is no different. How long does it take you to do your lead generation? How long do your appointments take? My appointment time used to be really long because I know it'll be shocking to you, but I can talk a lot. So when I used to go on listing appointments, I was there for a really long time.
What's a really long time?
Like 2.5 hours. That's a long time. I probably had the listing in the first 20 minutes, but you know, just making sure. So anyway, I don't know. Anyway, I've cut that way back but focused on the client, and we we don't feel that service has been affected, and I just had to learn to shut up, which was a entirely different skill set entirely. But when we're looking, what we're looking at is how do we do this, and how many appointments do you need, or how many calls do you need to make to earn the results, and this is where tracking those pieces come to it. So on page 27, you'll see something called the lead generation funnel. And everybody's heard about this thing, and everybody talks about it, but sometimes having the visual is really helpful. And the idea is, you know, fill the funnel. This is the whole idea of when you come up from a deal and go, oh, I don't have anybody to talk to, it's because there's nobody in the funnel. So these little dot things, I'm assuming, are people versus a sieve, and that they're falling out the holes. That's how you run your lead generation, I guess. So the idea is that it takes more leads to convert to appointments, and more appointments to turn into agreements, and more agreements to turn into contracts, and less, you know, and then that funnels its way down. So we constantly want to be filling it up from the top with people, because who are our clients, if we remember? Everyone, thank you. And so we're constantly trying to fill those people into that funnel. So calling every session. So in every class, you will be doing some phone work, okay? And it will be putting you on the phone for 10 or 20 minutes, depending on the session. You're going to break out in groups and go off and make quick phone calls and practice the scripts that we're going to be doing. Because we spent a little bit more time today on the development and getting our heads in the right place, we probably won't be doing your calls today, but you will be doing them in every other session. But I want to go through the material so you're comfortable with it when you actually go to do them. Are you guys okay with that? Okay. So if we flip to page 29, so there's 4 powerful habits that cross through the Ignite program and cross through successful lead generation and successful agents, no matter where you are in your business. And they are very simple. Adding 10 new contacts into your contact database every day. So Janice's eyes just jumped right out of her head when she went, oh my God, 10 people a day, okay? So when you do bold, you have to do 100 a week. Yeah, it's 20 a day in bold. The idea being, if you do 10 a day, that's 50 a week, that's 200 a month, right? That's a lot of people that are in your database. Because as you know, people are ready at all different times of getting ready. Shelley?
So everybody is not scared, okay? Remember, everyone is in our circle of who you can talk to. So it might be the person at the grocery store. It might be that you're no longer going out in public and being a secret agent.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. The other piece, like, I'll give you some examples. So we get to this after, but I can see the fear and I sense the fear online. So let's just take a second and talk about this very practically. I'm probably about 2 pages ahead, but bear with me, okay? When we're talking about the everybody, it could be every day that you call 2 real estate agents from Keller Williams in other provinces or other market centers and create a relationship. It could be that you talk to a new lawyer every day. It could be that you talk to some form of service provider that your clients could possibly use, a window guy, a flooring guy, a painter, or somebody, okay? Okay, it could be that you're talking to 2 people that you're following up from at an open house. It could be 2 for sale by owners. It could be, like, this does not mean you have to, like, everybody is a client. They're in your database and they have the ability to send you clients. Does this make it feel a little less horrific now? Yes, nodding.
When you said 10 new contacts, I'm thinking I have to start stalking people.
She said, I'm stalking people at the grocery store to get their contact info. Right, yeah. So, well, you might, right? Yeah. Yeah. You might be door knocking. You might be doing FISBOs. You might be going to a networking event and you've met 10 people and made 10 great contacts and now you have 10 people that day. Like, sometimes it's not like
your next session is all about that.
Right? So you're gonna learn about that, okay? But I just, like, I could feel the anxiety raise in the room because no one was gonna be paying any attention to anything else I had to say because they were thinking, oh my God, how am I gonna find 10 people? So then the next part is to speak to 10 people in your database. So again, these people were just added to our database, okay? So your 10 people a day isn't only past clients, existing clients, prospective clients, but also people that could potentially be engaged in your real estate business. Meaning you are talking to 10 humans who, when you call and say, hi, it's Janice from Keller Williams, they go, oh, hi, Janice. Not who, what, huh? Okay. And you're having a conversation about something related to real estate, by the way. That is part of that conversation, okay? We're not calling to chat about the weather. Now, this next part, this is the part that I said, oops, I'm so sorry, we forgot, we didn't have cards for you. You'll have to everybody go to the dollar store, do whatever if you've got personal cards. The idea is to write 10 notes a day. Now, 10 notes a day, I think that's a lot of notes. But if you've talked to 10 people, the idea is to follow up with a note. The idea is, and I gave this example at something I taught, and I don't remember which one it was. I think it might have been RCD. And it was about when I came back from NAR in November, I went to this social media thing. Because, you have to go to one every time to somehow it's going to sink in one of these days, everything I need to do with social media. But this guy said this one thing that made me go, oh my God, this is totally what I need to do, which was everybody is yakety-yakketing about their entire life on Facebook, right? Like, oh, I just got a new job. Oh, new baby. Oh, new grandmother. Oh, whatever, right? Oh, I've got a new dog. Whatever. Like their whole world is there. You could be sending notes where they say, oh, I just got a new job. And you could write them a handwritten note to go, congratulations, such and such a company is so lucky to have you, blah, blah, blah. That's your note. Put your card in and away you go. Congratulations, personally congratulating them on being a grandparent. What a lucky baby, to have you guys as their family, whatever. Who gets nice mail? Nobody gets nice mail. I don't get nice, I don't even bother with my mailbox half the time because it's just statements, right? But if I went and there was like a card, like I got a card the other day, I'm like, oh, all the rest of the mail, poof, put it aside. I'm excited, I have a card, right? We want your clients to think the same thing. Preview 10 homes for sale every day and visit 10 in person per week. So everybody starts to panic about that one too, okay? So that one means, let's say you go on an agent tour on Tuesdays. I don't think we ever put 10 on the list. I think we only put 8, but you can get 8 of them out of the way. And the idea is to be be very knowledgeable about all the things that affect your market, all different types of price point, all different types of homes, all different types of areas. And then you might go in, if you're not doing an open house, you might go to an open house, or you might go to a Saturday open house, or you're driving by and someone has an open house on a Tuesday and you run in, or if there's vacant properties that are bank owned or something that you can preview, because you can't do this for sellers that are occupied. They don't like this, okay? But that's the idea behind that, okay? So that you are constantly aware of the changing inventory and prices and conditions of home and able to say, somebody wants to see a house in that neighborhood and you go, oh my gosh, I was just in the one down the street the other day and, blah, 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 this one's much better. That has so much power. It has such incredible power with your clients, okay? So these are called your daily 10-4. If we go back, yeah. So daily, every day, at least 6 days a week to begin, depending on what your goals are. 10 of each, and there's 4 activities. So it's your daily 10-4. So when you hear this terminology all through Ignite, about your 10-4, we're not talking on a two-way radio, okay? So on page 30, it gives you a summary of what I just told you. Now, we're going to go really quickly, and I'm going to show you how to track this. So before the end of the class, we're going to have registered everybody online as having attended the class. So I'm just going to lean over Tammy for a second. So scroll down. No, I want to go. No, I meant just you're on it. Oh, right. Okay. So if you go back to the class, just a second, I got to move this for a minute so I can see. Okay, so you have something called My Tracker. Do you remember I said we were going to talk about this? So you're going to click on the My Tracker when you're logged in as yourself. Okay? Is there a way to no. Okay, so So it says there at the bottom, enter your daily 10-4, enter your milestones, and then it's going to print reports. So every day you are expected as a member of Ignite to upload your activities, because we are going to post the leaderboard every Ignite session, because we're all going to be accountable to each other for activities. So if we were to enter daily 10-4, so it's asking you to add them. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. How many connections? 10 notes. So that's your calling your 10 people. That's the step 2. Step 3 is writing your notes. How many notes did you write that day? And how many homes have you seen that week? And then you're going to save it. Don't save that one, actually. Just go back. Because I have to put my own stats in. This is me logged in. Yeah. Okay. And then the next one is going to be entering milestones, which is probably somewhere else in here, but while I'm in here. So if you enter your milestones, which is the second part, I can see the spinny circle. So this is, oh my gosh, I made these calls and someone actually wants to talk to me. It's so exciting. So I have an appointment. So I'm going to post it there. How many signed agreements, written contracts, and closed contracts. And I would say closed meaning firm, right? Not necessarily closed. Not closed, because that's not necessarily how our market works, right? Because it's a question of how many deals are you working through to being deals, right? So the idea is that you do that, and then you'll be able to click on your My Reports, which we have no data in here right now. But if you click on it, it should show, what it'll do is show you in a grid format exactly where your business is. Okay? So everyone will be logging into their MyKW and entering this every day so that we can post it on the next day at your next Ignite session. Okay? Does everybody understand? Anyone online have any questions? No? Okay. Okay.
Pam,
So,
is that Pam?
yep.
Hi. Hi. Yeah, so is that available now, or do you actually have to log us in as attending today? Is that?
Yeah, I have to just log you in. So as soon as I'm done class, I have the attendance list, and I'll plug you all in as students, and then you'll have access.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
so
you.
It doesn't take long for me to do it because I practiced it the other day. Okay. So we're going to move on quickly because I want to keep to our time as promised. So we're going to look at page 33. And now what we're getting into is scripts and sales. Okay. So the idea here is, and we've talked about this before, that we are first in the business of lead generation. And what are we really saying about our job? So let's look at the blanks. Since we are first in the business of lead generation, what are we really saying about our job? Blank about their blank needs and the needs of blank. Anybody have an idea what we want to put in there? Not all at once now. I picked purple twice. How did I do that? Okay, let me help you. I'm going to ask Henry. He's had all kinds of great answers. Henry, what do you think the first blank might be? Okay, we've lost Henry. Oh, he's thinking. Okay. Okay, well, I'll help you with this one and the first one, and then it'll all domino down. So the first line is talking to people about their, let's think about this, real estate needs, woohoo, yay, and the needs of people they know. Others was answered, but that's where we're going. So talking to people about their real estate needs and what was the wording they gave me? Yeah, and people they know. So if you think about, everyone gets freaked out about that in the sense that they're calling a past client, but you can also become more comfortable with it by practicing it also by speaking to professionals such as bankers and lawyers and inspectors and asking, everyone has probably asking them for referrals. I don't know why we don't ask the people that have actually used their services. That makes not a lot of sense, but it's where we're afraid, and let's be honest about that. Oh, God. What happened? Maybe just click the X. Okay. Okay. So, magic. Okay. So there are two ways of doing this. Entrepreneurial, so this I love. Just chat up whoever happens to cross your path, and if real estate comes up, great. And if it doesn't, oh well, I'm sure that I'll get a deal from them one of these days. Purposeful is knowing exactly who you want to talk to, blocking time to communicate with them, and being prepared to have conversations that lead to you providing value in exchange for them helping you grow your business. Which would you rather do? Purposeful, right? So that's another example of that. So now let's talk about scripts, because everybody just loves scripts, let's just be honest, but we need to get over it. Because the reality is, they work. There's a reason they work. Because they've been tested and tried, and every objection known to man has come up with, and we need to get over ourselves. Okay? So I'm just, summarizing that thought. Okay. So when we're talking about scripts, a great script is 100% customer-oriented and benefits the customer throughout the entire conversation. A script is not meant to be all about you. It is absolutely supposed to be about them. Okay? So we're going to flick quickly and watch a very quick video. Can I do it here? Hold on. No. Where did I find them? They were over here? They were, might be in this structured page. Get down here. Down. Ah! Okay. Oh, bear with me a second, guys. No. Can't see. Timed me out. Oh, there we go.
Hi, I'm Jeff Glover, and I'm going to tell you the top 5 things that you need to know about using scripts. Step 1, you're going to need to get your scripts from a top agent at the office, your team leader, a MAPS coach, or of course Keller Williams University. Step 2, we're going to need to do a total transformation of, instead of talking and telling, of asking questions. Selling isn't telling, selling is asking a series of questions that leads to desired response. So instead of talking so much, we need to get in the habit of asking questions. And asking questions gives us control of the conversation. Control of the conversation gives us our ultimate outcome, which is an appointment set or closing. Step 3, we need to listen with good intentions. Well, what I mean by that is we need to listen to their answers instead of just listening to them talk and asking another question that comes to mind. For example, instead of asking a seller where they're moving to and then going on to the next question, how soon would you like to be there, ask them, where are you moving to? And when they give you a response, ask them, what takes you there? Step 4 in becoming better at scripts is we need to learn to mimic, mirror, and match the prospect. What I mean by that is we have to listen to their tone of voice. We have to speed up or slow down based on how fast the prospect is talking. That means when they respond and say, we're moving to Toledo, oh, Toledo, that's exciting. What takes you there? 93% of communication is body language and tonality. And that means only 7% are the words that we say or the questions that we ask. Step 5, we need to take these 5 points and practice them daily. If you think of NFL teams, they practice 50, 60 hours on the practice field for a 1-hour game. Our game is our presentations and our appointments, and we need to practice daily. Everything that we've learned every single day before we meet with our clients. When it comes to scripts, my biggest aha is that everybody has their own scripts. We're pre-programmed to have scripts, and we're talking and asking questions that are scripted. However, what we found is that most of our own scripts are no good. And so we have to learn the right scripts, the right questions to maintain control of the conversation. Thanks for watching KW Connect. Make it a great day.
Ta-da! Okay, so the idea behind this is to look at what your scripts are that are here. So when we talk about the benefits of scripts and the learning of scripts, if we're moving in the book, we're looking at 36 and 37. There's an exercise on page 38 that I'm actually going to take us to. So if we end up finishing up on this today, then we'll be great. And then the last piece is just working your calendar, which we'll be talking about in other sessions, so I'm not going to worry about that one too much. Okay? So there's an exercise there that's really cool. So I want you to turn to page 41 and 42. There's a script in your book. Okay? You might have to fold your book a different way to do it. We'll put them up on the screen here. So let's pick one that we'll work on together. Let's do remind them you're in real estate on page 42. Sorry. Okay. So because in most cases, I would say most agents, myself included, have people in their database that we have not reached out to on a regular basis, and we need to remind them that we're there. Because before we spend a ton of time and energy going out looking for a new client, we need to go back and look after the ones we've already got, because we're already a proven entity to them. We might just need to remind them. Okay? So let's use that particular script as an example. So what it says in terms of internalizing and memorizing scripts, because when you're doing a script, you don't want it to sound like a script, which is kind of a weird place to be, because you want it to be coming through your voice, but yet not getting into rewriting the words necessarily. So one of the ways to do that is, so let's say, let's read out the first sentence of the script out loud 5 times, and I do invite our online people to join in without their mute button on this. So the first line of it is, hello, this is Anna Silva. Do you have a moment? Or hello, this is blank. We can say blank if we want, just so we all don't talk over each other. Hi, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Okay, so everybody together, we're going to do it 5 times. Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? One more. Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? So then the exercise says to repeat the same sentence 5 times with a huge smile on your face. So now, has anybody ever heard of the Carnegie School of Business? Okay. So there's an old trick to when you do phone sales, and this goes back, I think it was in the 70s. It was to have a mirror beside your phone, when you're on the phone. Because when you're scowling or distracted or shuffling papers, you'll see it. And it will change what comes through the phone. So the idea was to have a mirror there. And if you look like a sourpuss, you sound like a sourpuss. Okay? So the idea is now to say the same script, so to say our same line, because we all didn't sound very excited, I'm going to say honestly. Don't know that I want to talk to any of you. And I want you to actually smile. Okay? So we're going to do it 5 more times. Very happy. Okay? Ready? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? Hello, this is blank. Do you have a moment? I think one more. It's blank. Do you have a moment? Barely counting to 5 is beyond me. Did you hear a difference right away in how that sounded? You sounded a little less like you're being tortured, right? And a little more like someone you might want to actually talk to on the phone. Okay? So the process here is to read the first sentence of the script out loud 5 times. Repeat the same sentence 5 times with a huge smile on your face, and it says right here, you'll notice a difference. Read the second line out loud 10 times while smiling. Now, for the hard part, put the script down and memorize them. And I think that's the big key. Anytime I've gone to any course that's taught about learning scripts, they don't do that next piece. And if you are dependent on reading it, it will always sound like you're reading it. When you're practicing a script, it should be organic. It should come out of your mouth just naturally. And as he mentioned in the video, you already have certain scripts. Like people ask you a certain thing and you just automatically flick into gear and say X or Y or that time. You don't even realize you're doing it. But if we're going to get uncomfortable and we're going to start making calls and reaching out to database people and we're doing this and we don't want to be afraid because we're afraid we're not an expert yet, how do we become professional? By practicing. So the next piece is to have your scripts memorized. So I am going to challenge each of you to have 2 scripts memorized by Wednesday. You can pick whichever 2 you want that are most suitable to you. So Tammy, I'll ask you to take 5 minutes if you can on Wednesday and have them role play that for you. So, and they're not really, really long. Like, these are pretty natural sounding scripts. Like, if we look at this one and we say, like this one I love for the remind them you're in real estate. And it says, hi, it's Anne, still with Keller Williams. Do you have a moment? And they say, yes, no, obviously. It's been a while and I'd like to apologize for not staying in touch. I've been busy growing my real estate business and working with great clients like you. I wanted to share with you that I've had a personal goal to help X amount of families get into the home of their dreams this year. As you already know, I'll do whatever it takes to help people. May I count on you to help me reach my goal? But you've started off with some accountability. You've started off by saying it's been a long time since you've spoken to them. So instead of calling up like that didn't happen, right, and it being all weird and like you're trying to have, their children have graduated and you didn't even, like, you're just owning it. And once you own it, you're in a different place. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So 2 scripts. So now how are you going to do this, by the way? How are you going to memorize them? Practice. Are you going to do that by yourself, or do you think you might do it with somebody else? Or you can do it in the mirror. You can do it with an accountability partner. You can do it face-to-face. You can do it over the phone. You can meet someone for coffee. The idea is to be comfortable with it. And sometimes when you do it with another person, it sounds genuine. At the very least, I would call a peer after you think you've got them memorized. Please don't put the script in front of you while you call them, because that's cheating. And do it and just ask them how it sounded. Like, ask them for positive feedback. And they might say, well, you know what, it was a little bumpy at the beginning, and that get that honest feedback, because how we sound to ourselves or how we think we did may not actually be how we did. Okay? Everybody okay so far? Okay. We're just going to watch one more video. Oh, that's all. Well, practicing more than once won't be the end of the world.
What is going saying? And we're saying script.
It doesn't sound very sensitive. I know, the chances are great.
The chances are not very good, so I wouldn't worry much about that. Okay, so we're going to watch one more video quickly. In the way.
Hi, Kevin. It's Chris Heller with Keller Williams Realty, your favorite real estate agent. I was calling real quickly. Just wanted to see if you have any real estate plans coming up that I can help you with. I didn't think so. I know you love the home and love the neighborhood. Hey, who do you know that is going to be looking to buy or sell a home that I might be able to help? So I appreciate you giving it a thought. If you do come across someone, do you promise you'll let me know? We recently came out with our own app, and it's a great real estate app. In fact, it's the best app out there. I use it all the time. I've used all the others. It's free. There's no cost. Give me your cell phone number, and I'm going to text you the link to it. Download it. You can keep up on what's going on in your neighborhood. If your neighbor's home goes on for sale, you can see what they're asking for. Or if you happen to be out and about and drive by any home, open up the app, and that home, they'll show up so you'll know exactly what's going on with it. Do you like that? Great. I'm going to text you the link right now. Well, do me a favor. 2 things. Number 1, if you do hear of someone that has a real estate need, would you keep me in mind? Great. Secondly, after you download the app, try it out, send me a text and let me know how you like it. Thanks a lot, Kevin. Appreciate you.
It's pretty easy sounding, isn't it? Doesn't sound like a bunch of schmuck stuff that comes across in some scripts. It's genuine. He's appreciating the client, he's thanking him for his time, but he's also asking for an accountability back and forth with the client, which is really key to solidifying that relationship. So when we're doing these types of things and we're calling with scripts, which you guys are going to practice, and we'll work on that because we're going to run out of time today. But the next piece is to turn to personal notes. And in this section, it also gives us some examples of personal notes on page 45 that you can use to do your daily 10-4. So let's say I called Bob the Builder, okay? And I write him a note and saying, thank you for taking the time to chat with me today. It was great to catch up and let you know what I've been up to with my business. Thrilled to be with Keller Williams and available to you at any time to be an asset and resource to you, your family, your friends. Please call me whenever a question or needs comes up. I'll stay in touch. I appreciate you and wish you all the best. It's pretty sincere. Troy says if I only meant it. But the idea is, Henry has a yes, we had one. What does it? Oh, Dale Carnegie, yeah. But you know, that's the idea, to write something personal, write something, you know, I always start my thank you notes with just a note. It's just how my brain goes to write it, just a note to say, you know, it's a pleasure, I was thinking about you, or whatever. It's just the way my brain writes it. There's no right or wrong way to do them. Writing a nice card on nice stationery. You can order Keller Williams cards through any of our suppliers if you want blank cards with a KW on the front. Or you can personalize, or you can, honestly, you can go to the dollar store and get, you know, decent white card stock thank you cards that are with your business card in them, and they're going to be just as effective. So don't go out and spend $5 million, and don't wait till the custom cards get ordered to start writing cards, right? Because that would be getting ready to get ready, okay? The client isn't going to care whether or not it's a custom card or not. They're going to care that you took the time to write a handwritten card. My personal suggestion, and this is just a personal add-on, I do recommend that you handwrite the address and do not spit it out of a label maker. It doesn't feel like a personalized note when the label is not handwritten. That's just my 2 cents. It's not an official statement. Okay? So, wrapping up things here, the next piece is looking at accountability. So we're basically, you know, other than blocking time in the end, we're basically looking at creating a feedback loop, following your action plan, and deciding who you're going to work with to keep moving through this program. This is a big program squished into 12 days. The key between this is going to be in your sessions. There's 2 things that I'm going to suggest you do. I'm going to ask you to reread all of the material, or at least scan through the material that we've gone through today, because I have skimmed it. because that's not my style of teaching, so I don't read it word for word. There's probably a lot of stuff that I've missed that would be very helpful to you. Maybe personally you'll retain it differently if you read it, okay? I would also encourage you to go forward and look at the next session and just have a scan of it to just sort of get an idea. If you don't have time to do that, that's not as big a deal. So today, when we're looking at what we're doing, it's talking about a plan of action. It's talking about making a list, and then it's talking about pruning it to get it down to your 20% activities. So let's just look quickly at page 48 and 49, and then we'll wrap up for the day. So anybody that hasn't yet read The One Thing, I strongly encourage you to do so. It is a light read, but it's extremely powerful and really tends to put things into focus. Okay? So this is looking here, this section is looking at is it important or 20%? So for example, return a call to a person inquiring about a listing. Do we think that that's in our 20% important? Yeah. Do we think it's urgent? Yes. Scheduling a training class on contracts. Yes, that's important, but it's not urgent. Daily 10-4 is both important and urgent. Ordering new business cards is neither. Put marketing materials together for a meeting with a seller next week. It is important, but it's not urgent. Pick up dry cleaning. Lead generate. Okay? So there's a difference between important but urgent, important but not urgent. So on page 49, what I would ask you to do is to take this sheet, copy it, download it, print it, whatever you're going to do, and use this as your daily task list. You've got your daily 10-4, but in addition to that, you do have things you need to actually get done that day after you finish lead generating. The idea behind this is to keep you out of the weeds. It's to keep you from making shiny binders. It's to keep you from organizing and doing busy work. Okay? The idea here is to look at your, naturally lead generate happens to be pre-ready on the sheet for you, but it might be, you know, send an amendment, you know, regarding a deal, and the deal is due, like that amendment's due today. So yes, that's something that is both important and urgent. Yes, I need to order my business cards, but when I wrote it out and realized that it's not my urgent priority, I then know which ones to start with, so that at the end of the day, I will actually have accomplished the things that both make me money and keep me on track towards my goals and my big why. Make sense to everybody? Any questions online from anybody? Okay, so the next piece is living by your calendar. And we've talked about this in many, many sessions in here, and I've taught this many, many times. But this is really about making sure that you are accountable to yourself for the appointments you book with yourself. Richard Payne explained at the beginning, Thursdays at 3:30 is his review my goals and my activities for the week. Is that correct, Richard? Yep. So that's an appointment that he has made with himself, and if he doesn't keep that, then he's going to be off the whole next week. His whole plan, his whole activity, it's all messed up. He doesn't know where he's at. Yours might be at 5 o'clock in the morning. Tammy's up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Mine would be at 11:30 at night because that's when my brain's awake. You know, so everybody's is different. It doesn't matter what time you do it, but it's that you do it. And that you don't bump your training, your appointments, your development, your reading the, you know, reading a CREA update, doing that commitment to education. You don't bump those things because they're in your 20%. When we're looking at our calendar, we're looking at maintaining our 20%. Does that make sense to everybody? So we never bump the 20% activities. And if you do, heaven forbid, bump something because, I don't know, there's an emergency, you know, client's water line broke or whatever, if you bump, you don't remove. What typically happens is we put stuff in our calendar and we didn't get it done that day, but we don't move it forward to do the next day, we just don't do it. Is that fair to everybody? Oh, I'm going to call 10 people today. Well, I didn't call 10 people today. So in theory, I need to call 10 people over the remaining 4 days of the week. So I need to add 2 people for the rest of my days to be able to meet my goal. But that's not what people do. They just go, I didn't do it, and they're down 10 people. I mean, I'm just being honest. That's the way we do it, right? So if we're focused on the activities we have on our 10-4, or on our 10-4 plus our task list from the beginning, your calendar, you then have control of your calendar. And that's one of the things that we talked about at the very beginning as well, was not feeling that your business is running you, but that you're in control of your business. Okay? So the last few pages that are in here are all about your agreement of expectations, it's preparing for the next class, and it's your toolkit. So we have officially completed session 1 in Ignite. Thank you all very, very much for your participation today. Yay, we did it! So a couple things just for housekeeping. So we have a question here. Cody, thanks so much for making this appointments the rest of the day. We'll see everyone digitally on the next Ignite. Thank you, Cody. So I am thrilled that we're able to do this and have people both in class and online. I think it's very exciting that we can basically double our participation by having this available. So a little bit of homework for you all. Remember, you have 2 scripts to memorize by Wednesday. Please look at your daily 10-4 and please look at your urgent list that we just looked at and take a minute to review the material so that you're ready. We will get you registered online to be able to complete your daily 10-4 and your, what were they called? Starts with an M. Not your milestones. That's the word I wanted. Yes. So to be able to add your milestones and your daily 10-4. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great session on Wednesday. I will actually be in Toronto with KW Leadership until Friday. You will be in the very capable hands of Tammy, who will be looking after you, and I can't wait to be back for the next session. Thanks, guys. Bye. Okay, we have to press stop record, and then we don't touch it because